Okay, so today I'm going to continue watching that horror short film playlist. I was enjoying that, but I feel bad because I subscribed to Hulu this month for Books of Blood, or no, it wasn't even for that. It was for something else, some stupid TV show maybe that there was the one clip I saw from that with the hair, so I got baited. The woman has I don't know what it is about a scene like that. That's like the perfect typical YouTube short scene where it's kind of cool and interesting and whatever, but then the whole rest of the episode didn't seem to even deal with that, so it was just that, But whatever, it's almost like a pseudo-reality TV type moment, but it's obviously not. But anyway, I can do that as an alternating series here. So what I'll do is, today I'll continue the short horror film playlist, right? And then tomorrow I'll do something on Hulu that is in my history, my history of little shorts or clips that I watch on YouTube that happen to be on there of some movie or a show or something like that. So I might even do it on an episodic basis where I'll just watch that one episode from which that clip comes. So I watched Books of Blood on the same basis, and I didn't finish it, and I don't know if I even will, but I saw at least the part that it was going for, that clip of her finding bodies in the house, whatever, in the hotel. And so the point is that this is typically not the way I like to watch stuff, because then it feels like you're spoiling stuff. You're spoiling the best moment that should instead come as a surprise, which it really wasn't that much of a surprise. That family was sketchy, and they wasted so much time on them that if they weren't sketchy, then what would be the point, right? But imagine that they're just really trying to help her, and he wasted 40 minutes of a horror movie doing this. But I did finally get around to uploading, so I have to remind myself, up to recording number 22, this is just for my own purposes, but up to recording 22 I've uploaded. So I uploaded 1 through 22, which again, a lot of them were just short and me testing it and whatever. But between that, I had watched James Bond, I had watched Books of Blood, I had watched short horror stuff, random stuff on YouTube. And so basically, that's a 7-hour video that I did actually upload, and the video is just an image and with the audio under it. So it's not that hard to do, but still, even to put that image over it and to upload it to YouTube takes a certain amount of time, and to maybe cut out all the silence and the pauses and stuff like that. And so maybe once a week I can try to do that, because that wasn't even a week's worth though. That was less than a week, because I haven't been using this phone for that long, but whatever. I'd like to keep up with doing that, but it's very, very difficult. And so we're going to start here with this horror playlist, and it's just some random one. I can't even see right now who made it, but whatever. I'll just keep naming and giving you. This is also one thing that I wasn't doing on that. In the video, I didn't do any timestamps, not even in the comments. And I'm just fuck it. I could maybe go through later and try to do it, but I say in the video as I'm watching what I'm watching, right? And I say when I'm starting in 3, 2, 1. So you kind of have to go by that, because I'm watching way too many different things in there. But no, this seems like a fun idea. So today I'll continue the horror short films and on the playlist. And the condition with this is if I get scared during one of these, I have to stop watching. So either then I can switch to another playlist or whatever, just do something else. So I'll watch some of these, and then tomorrow I'll watch an actual episode of something or a movie based on one of those clips. So I'll look through, I'll do an early, little segment where I'm looking through my history, and then I'll decide which one is on Hulu and which one I want to watch. So we're starting this one here in a second. Horror short film Mulberry Night. So the previous one we had watched was, let me see, this is really annoying to navigate. This phone really isn't very good. In fact, the phone I'm using to record, oh yeah, Vanilla Cake. Did I really not watch anything after Vanilla Cake? I feel like I did though. Or maybe that's when I tried to watch Books of Blood, and then I just never continued it. I'm not sure actually. I feel like I'd watched Vanilla Cake, but then I did something after it, but it must not have been this at least. So I wasn't impressed with Vanilla Cake very much. It was just it's more like the real world horror that I talk about, but let me watch that scene again where he gets mad. The entitlement, the spoiled child. She's more into it than he is, and then I guess the twist at the end I watched after the fact is that the dad the dad he found the dad where he put the body of the mom, so maybe that makes it seem like a validated thing for him to do, but then he'll end up getting blamed for them, but not really. Any level of forensics would be oh, is she talking about Betty Crocker, like her husband left her? She's just like kind of in her own world too. But what I don't like how she dies so easily too, and that kind of knife doesn't look like it could even kill her. But no, I like this sort of subject matter and what this is attempting to do, but it's not really even a horror thing. This could be like a social drama type moment, right? A thriller type. It's just different than what you're expecting with this type of genre. So let me go ahead. I'll start the other one in a second here. But this is a good way to do it. So like if people really want to watch whatever low caliber content that this is that I always make fun of, you just have to, watch through it yourself and just figure out what I'm watching when and see if you want to watch it along, because I'm not putting the video in there. But so I'm doing it almost like quantity over quality, but of course my natural film critic analytical self comes out and doing a lot of this. So this one is called Mulberry Night, horror short film. And so we're starting in 3, 2, 1. It starts off with a little sound of rain and stuff. I love the mystery of these too, like not knowing what they're really about. Like, what does Mulberry Night mean? I have no idea. So it's cool just to kind of try to guess, right? Even like vanilla cake, it could have been a metaphor for something. I guess it's a metaphor for the straw that broke the camel's back, but it literally was a vanilla cake. Like, that's actually what it was about. These sound like non-native English speakers. Not that it matters, but I'm just observing. Something sounded a little stunted about that delivery, or maybe it's like dubbed over somehow. And I try not to look at the length of these either, but if they're super long, I don't really want to watch them either. But I guess that's why they're called shorts. But some of them are like 14 minutes and shit. It's like, or I was even trying to watch some of those ones that I missed, like the bus, not from this playlist, but just other ones that I was going to watch, but whatever, I'll just go by this. This one has like 400 videos in it or something crazy, so. The problem is that we get a little bit of glare sometimes where we can't see what's happening in the dark, so I might miss certain elements like that, but. Somebody's like watching a game or something, I can't tell what's happening. Or it had subtitles for what people were saying, but it doesn't have them for the video itself. Like they're built into the video. Good old folly favoritism. It won't save you from the fucking monster that's about to kill you. Some of these are just very gimmick based too, like I say, but it's still better than watching a horror movie, because that's what it'll end up being. You'll sit there in silence through all the little false alarms, and then an hour later you'll get the actual monster with the power or whatever, the gimmick of the story, and then it'll kill somebody and then the movie will end. Like, it's just, it'll just happen, right, on like a formula level. So that's what these are like, but the sad part is even full-length horror movies are like that too. It'll be a lot of build-up, which can be good, but then it'll be like, oh, the monster is here, and then the monster is killing people, and then we kill the monster, or whatever, the monster lives to create a sequel. There's sort of a low-budget incentive too. Like, it's cheaper to make those kind of movies than anything else, so they churn them out. even big studios. It's one thing if you're doing the Blair Witch Project that's impressive on a certain technical level, sure. I never liked it really as much as other people, but it's still, again, it's a good achievement for the cost. Even if it didn't make as much money as it did, it was still, you know, it wouldn't have needed to make that much because, you know, it's like a found footage type of thing. I'm going to make a low budget film on a shitty iPhone that you can tell that, you know, on a shitty recorder where you can tell I'm recording it on that. It'll say REC with the red dot or whatever as you're watching, but oh no, that's for the authentic effect of it. That's not just because it's cheap, low budget. So you see how they're almost exploiting that. It'll look low budget because it seems like, oh, it's a found footage type of movie where it seems like, oh, we're showing it from the eyes of the characters as if it's really happening, but you're really just doing it because, you know, you can't afford a better setup. So it's an interesting way to subvert that. No, it's to make it authentic, you see. Nothing's really happening, so. Or like he turned off the light and then it turned on its own or something. There's a monster outside my room. Can I have a glass of water? Classic line from Signs. Okay, bro, this is what I mean about the silence. I'm just so unmoved by stuff like this. Like, I appreciate build-up, but the thing with this is it's just all performative. Like, building up to what? From what? It'll just be, oh, you see the monster for a second, and then you don't even see... Like, imagine that, dude. The ultimate cuck job experience. You'll sit there for 2 hours in a movie, then the monster will appear, and it won't even kill anybody, and it'll just end. Right? But at least normally that doesn't happen. But in the form of short film, you'll sit there for 10 minutes watching the build-up, and then you'll see the monster, and then you won't even get to see it kill anybody, right? That's how most of these end. You'll see it for a second, it'll move erratically, and then it just black screen, right? So it never actually shows you the kill. So it's all build-up, and then there's not even payoff. You get cucked even on the payoff when it's so short in the first place. That is a certain principle of horror and suspense. Like, the less you show, sometimes the better it is, but at some point, you know, see, now I can't see shit. I must have missed something that's happened so far, but as far as I can tell, nothing has fucking happened. This dark screen shit is impossible to deal with. I would need, like, some special device some special cover for it that stops it. It's not even sunny outside, so I don't know what the glare is coming from. Just like my screen is dirty or something. I don't know. And that's the problem with horror stuff, is you're often going to have those moments of black, you know, dark screen, dark environments, whatever. I mean, this one is just, I'm not even saying you need a lot of dialogue, but it's just very fucking annoying how nothing is happening. We've had more background noise than actual dialogue, like just the sports game, this thing, a little clown like circus music. I don't know what mulberry means, otherwise you might have a clue as to what the monster is going to be. Now there'll be a 0.5 second jump scare and then it'll just end. I saw some figure there, illuminated by the light for a second, which of course he didn't. Holy shit, bro, I'm trying to be patient. I'm trying not to look at like this, but this better not be like an hour long. It's supposed to be a short. And she was kind of being a bitch to him at the beginning too, like, you know, oh, just thank you, I'll see you tomorrow. Like, she wasn't too interested. At least this one goes on longer. I thought it would end right when she was doing that. You didn't give him much of a chance to play with you because you just choked him. Why don't you just ask nicely next time, can I play with you? Come out and ask. Okay, this one at least gets a little point just for actually showing something. So I'll give it like a C when it would have been like an F otherwise, because it pays off better, right? It goes against the trope I was just complaining about, that they all end on a cliffhanger moment, but it actually showed her lunge at the guy and kill the guy or whatever. Now Gina calls back. None of this would have happened if you picked up your phone, which maybe it wouldn't have. That'll obviously reveal, so she's Mary Atkinson. Which is just kind of random, like it has nothing to do with him. Mulberry Night, okay, so that was bad, except for the payoff is actually decent, so I'll give it some points for that, so I'll give it a C grade. But no, it's like all that could have been prevented if she picked up the phone and said, no, I'm not there. So then you would know that something could be amiss. You should have like a fucking gun or some shit around. Well, that was okay. I mean, again, at least you show the payoff. So let's see what the next one is going to be. This is the right way of doing this that I was trying to do from before with respect to this stupid ass using a playlist. So we're going to look at, what is this one called? I'm trying not to look at the timestamp. The Corner, short horror film. Like, these are like, you know, I have this term with movies called like a premise picture, which means it's a movie like you come up with an idea, you're in the boardroom, you're pitching it to the producers and stuff. Wouldn't it be cool if blank, and then you do it? So in other words, wouldn't it be cool if we made a movie where like we could see the monster in the background, like The Following or whatever, It Follows? It's like a gimmick or an idea that you come up with, where the monster is always seen in the background, even if the characters aren't aware of it, or even if it's not like a jump scare. You just gradually see it walking in the background all the time at various points. Like, okay, cool, let's make it into a movie. But then there's no more substance that they add to it. It's like, that's all it is, right? So you'll have, there's so many examples of that. Wouldn't it be cool if we did this one thing that would be awesome? Like, we want this idea of, a woman and a man switch places, and that's a cool idea. But then they don't have any more depth to it than that. They just kind of rely on that and beat like a dead horse and things like that. She's the man or whatever. So that's the point, is that a premise picture it's a good premise, it's a good idea. That's how it gets made, right? If you wonder, like, oh, how did this bad movie get made? But they like the idea of it, frozen assets. Like, oh, wouldn't it be funny if, this is literally the thing, wouldn't it be funny if the guy, a guy's going to work at a bank, but it's actually a sperm bank? Haha, that's the joke of the movie. But, okay, even if you think that's funny and a good premise, right, at least you have to add more substance to it, and they just don't. There's nothing else to it than that. I've never even seen it, but clearly people hate it so much that, you know what I mean, you're relying on that too much. That happens so much, actually, in this modern day and age. Let me try to think of another example. Just some sort of a gimmick, some sort of a cool, like even The Witch was kind of, it's not exactly the same thing, but that one scene of Anya pretending to be a witch, right, with a little girl towards the beginning, it's like, wow, that's a cool scene, you can sell me on that. But then the rest of the movie was sort of devoid of any real substance. I didn't find it particularly great. It was okay, but so you'll show like one scene or one idea or one gimmick or one premise, and it's like, oh yeah, let's make the movie based on that. But then what about the rest of it? Are you really delving deep into the subject matter? Are you really fleshing it out? Are you really making it into something more? Or are you just relying on the little gimmick of it and saying, okay, that's good enough? So this is The Corner. So we're starting in 3, 2, 1. Or it's sort of delayed, so let me start again. It always does that usually like the first time that it does that like the first time that you do it. It sort of buffers for a second. So we're starting in 3, 2, 1. I fake out even myself with these fucking timestamp things. So that last one was not very good, but it at least addressed one of my core problems with some of these. I wanted to watch some of those dash cam type things, disturbing things caught on dash cam, but I feel like I've seen most of them, or people keep recycling the same clips over and over. Even when I go to look at the newest ones, right, it'll be still clips that I've seen in the past on some other channel. like chilling scares and somebody else wants to be a wannabe chilling scares. The format of some of these is so dry and so, of those kind of videos, it's so formula. Like what I'm doing is clearly not formula right now, which unironically isn't, but just for probably scuffed reasons, like you're not, just by not showing the video, by not showing your face, things like that people care so much about, evidently. These are the kind of things that you would think you could easily post, unlike a movie, or you can still post parts of movies, but these are the kind of things you could do. So it's like, how do you climb up the ladder of, how do you clout chase adequately and climb up the ladder of YouTube content creation in the lowest common denominator sense and steal people's content all along the way? Start off by reacting to videos that you're not going to get in trouble for, like clips of sports games or other people's videos, commentary videos and things like that, or short horror films and stuff like this. So react to those things that you won't get in trouble for until you become big enough to where now if you react to something actually copyright like a movie and show like at least 20 minutes of it here and there clipped out, now you won't get in trouble for that because you're a big enough channel. So you start stealing people's content that isn't going to be that consequential, that they aren't going to get you in trouble for, just so you can steal other people's content later that is more substantial and get away with it. Like, this is actually the business model. So there's a lot of these, videos that people make, like somebody will make a compilation video, like funniest sports moments or whatever, news bloopers and fails or whatever. So those are good fodder for reaction. I just can't see anything that's going on, so it's unfortunate. Right, so I can't even really follow exactly what's happening, but this one has a lot to do with the phone. Where's the corner? I thought it would be like outside on the corner of the street. What? Are you okay? She won't quit staring at me. She won't quit staring at me. Like, why would you not be more freaked out about that? How the fuck would it just open like that? Must just be the wind. You're like a fucking NPC in a stealth game, right? You're sneaking up 100 sneak in Skyrim. Must have been the wind. Like, if that happened, I'd be out of there for a while and I'd figure it out later. Like, what the fuck? So she doesn't remember maybe saying that she won't stop staring at me? Or maybe that's the monster who used her phone to say that. Really? That wasn't like adequately, there wasn't enough of a shock in that. She turns and sees the monster, but it was like anticlimactic. The sound wasn't enough, the visual wasn't enough, so it was just kind of like bland. That's like the worst jump scare in the history of anything. It's like, oh, there she is, there's the monster. There's got to be like a louder thing. Not that I'm encouraging jump scares either, but okay, this one is, so that one gets like probably an F. Mainly because I couldn't see what the fuck was going on either, but the jump scare at the end was really disappointing. So that commits the cardinal sin again, where you don't get to see the kill, but you also, I don't know what it was about that. That was kind of hilarious. Like, she just turns, and then there it is, and that's it. Like, normally it'd be accompanied by more fanfare. Either it'd be moving quickly towards you, or there'd be some other visual to focus on, or again, the sound would be more jarring. But now this one is called The Long Walk. So we're starting in 3, 2, 1. I guess it couldn't be that long because it's a short horror film. So it must be more like The Short Walk. That's literally the purpose of doing this. Like that kind of joke. Wow, look how, that's a 10 out of 10. Clearly this is why people should be watching me do this fucking shit. Not even watch, but listen to me. But no, you gotta bait cult of personality, because seeing my facial expressions and reactions, that's really skillful, that's really valuable. At least this is more like you get to hear my insights, and if it's not that insightful, then just don't watch, fine. Then it's garbage and I don't deserve it. But it shouldn't be based on, oh, look at their face, look at their reaction, look at their expression. focus on all these things that don't have to do. There's a channel like that where he gives commentary, but he has like a mask on, but he still shows, it's like the two levels of it. He doesn't want to show his face, but he still shows his body and his hands. Now, why is that? Because you still want to benefit from the cult of personality ideation that goes along with that, right? If you were just showing a blank screen or just like an image as you're talking, now all of a sudden you wouldn't get as many views, so I see through it. I'm the true disembodied voice person, where somebody who truly believes in meritocracy and shuns cult of personality would just be the disembodied voice like this with no face cam at all. That guy's in the middle, where he doesn't want to show the face specifically and the identity, but he still wants to show the body and the overall background and things like that. And so that is, middle of the road. And then the other side is you just show everything. Literally, in this day and age, everything too, maybe. You see like a car in the background or a lot, so that makes you feel kind of safe that there's other people around, even if they're far away. And that's why it's called the long walk. But there's cars like right there. So how much danger could you really be in like that? Or maybe it's just going to keep going forever, but then how could you see cars in the background? That's just like one of those things that you can't help, right? A small filmmaker like this can't control the traffic just to do this shit. How do you really even do that? Like, the big studios can have that kind of power or money to make it happen, but at least that's a good way to show, like, where could the guy who poked him in the back possibly have come from? Because you can see how remote of an area it is. Like, they'd have to come along the boardwalk, so where did they come from, where did they go? They'd have to, like, jump from the side railing, then touch him, then jump off the other side, all before he could see shit. So he's seeing, like, a populated area of, like, that's going to be himself. It's just your doppelganger. They kind of use this trope a little bit too much, but why not just go to where he is, and then you get to be around the cars and shit. Here we go, obligatory thing, but see, at least that had more of a jump to it. These are so trash in a way, like, that maybe gets like a C or a D. Like, they're so much the same thing. Just have something moderately ominous happen for a few minutes, and then just have one little jump scare, stupid clown moment. Like, what did that even have to do with anything? He sees himself, and then he gets grabbed from behind. So it wasn't himself who did it. It was just like some sort of doppelganger, what am I thinking about, Hearthstone? Doppelganger that sort of stole his place. You gotta give me something of a little more substance than this. Okay, so we'll start the next one in a second here, and we get to... I like this as a net positive thing, though. See, this is the philosophy behind it. Both doing it on a regular basis, like I can just do this every day, and then, like, when I'm driving or whatever. But then on the second hand, I can also do it, like... I don't know, like, it's not coming at the expense of anything, because what would I be doing now otherwise? I just would be listening to music or watching something anyway, so I may as well just do it like this. So I'll genuinely just watch whatever I feel like, right, which right now I do feel like watching these, although it's kind of almost nighttime, so now I should be scared and not, whatever. So this one is called, and I can't really see the timestamps from this angle anyway, the length, so I kind of like that, so I don't know how long it is. Well, those last two were kind of too much of nothing. This one wasn't that bad. I guess I'll give it a C. The long walk, I like the premise and the visuals of the boardwalk thing and how it seems to maybe loop forever and things like that. The cars in the background and stuff kind of ruin the whole vibe, though. Whenever you feel like other people are around, it trivializes a bit. Night Terror, I almost feel like I've seen this one before, or at least maybe I've seen it suggested. So we're starting in 3, 2, 1. Night Terror, award-winning short film, 4K. good comeback. Somebody who cares this much about their appearance isn't going to make a good mother either. You'll teach them the superficial ways. See, at least this one has more sense of personality to start. Oh, good one. This guy has the best comebacks. Are we going to make good parents? No, we'll make great parents. Or at the beginning, he said also, is that like some feature she has? Like whenever she opens the door, the lights go off? And like, is that outside too? Why is it dark outside? Or she's like just freaking out because of the pressure of the kid thing? Or she has some condition where she always does this? His other comeback was pretty good, like, you know, oh, do I look right? I want to make a good first impression. But, you know, what would make the worst first impression is if you're late, right? You're running late, so you better hurry up. So I don't know if it was already night, but it seems perplexing that not only do the lights go off inside your house when you do that, but also they go off outside as kind of a cool effect. But they should have made it more clear what time it actually was, right, based on the phone call or something. Now you'll be expecting him to come, but oh no, it'll be a monster, it'll be something else. This one's always more compelling. Again, I'm not saying they have to be dialogue heavy, but they've already established these characters in a little better way than most of these, which is simply at all, because whenever she opens the fucking door, it happens, right? Now at least you can see it's bright outside, so clearly that proves that it's been the daytime the whole time. Just don't open the fucking door. Go jump out the goddamn window. Is it still gonna happen like that? I like these two where they question the character's sanity, like Nightmare at 50,000 feet or whatever it is, where 20,000 feet, where you get to open the fucking window. Go through the window. Go through a different door. Why you keep trying the same door? You already know it's gonna happen, you dumb bitch. Victim blaming. Learn your fucking lesson, bruh. Learn your lesson, sis. But no, like they question the character's sanity, but then it's actually something real. I couldn't really see exactly what it was, but almost made me think of an alien from Signs. Open the fucking window then. Or let's... This is going to turn into a domestic violence thing just because... You know, it'll just turn into domestic violence over the fact that she's hallucinating because... Wait, that one was actually decent, so I'll give that one a B. It'll turn into a domestic violence thing because... And she'll end up getting killed like that just because she's hallucinating and that's pissing him off and he's in a hurry. So... But see, like, what you gotta ask there is how come it didn't affect him then? How come he's not... You know, it won't kill him too, or... He's not going to see it. Like, the easy way, just open the fucking window. Now, maybe that would happen too. Right, that the lights would go off, but at least try it or do something else. Or just, like, go up to the roof and jump off the roof. Right, would it happen then? Like, it's only happening when you open that one door as far as we can tell. You could just jump out the window, or you could just figure out some other way to trick it or pull the car right up to the... Like, there's too many ways to kind of game the system, right, with these horror little gimmicks and how they work. So now we'll go to the next one. That was always decent. Oh, we got an actual ad here. Imagine that. At least I'd rather see it at the beginning or the end of a video so you get to not ruin the timestamp, whatever that you're even manually going on with. So we're going to go ahead and watch, what is it? Peripheral. This is on Crypt TV. So not all of these are from the same thing, from the same channel. They're just from the same playlist, but the playlist is just made by some random dude who just put together a whole bunch of short horror films, and so they're all from different places, which I kind of like. So we're going to watch this one in, what is it called? Peripheral. Okay. 3, 2, 1. Starts off with seeing the guy's eyes as if to show that's his peripheral vision. But he has some glasses on. Stefani Depchila. So she sees like some imaginary invisible person. But this is going to be like Nightmare at 50,000 Feet, where she'll just be clowning around and dancing and making fun of you. This guy's a bit of a dick already. The reason why the mother did whatever she did is because this is really happening to her too. Yeah, see, like that proves it right there, that can't be... You can't just force that where you snap your own neck just by moving it back, right? Like, how would you just do that on demand? But, like, why would looking at it be necessary? She told you put on the glasses. What, are you stupid? Just by seeing her, she can kill you. But if you can't see her, at least I like how short that was. What the hell is this at the end? This is like some little bonus random thing that has nothing to do with anything, but yeah, like for some reason being able to see her makes her kill you. So what if you were blind? That's one way to game the system. Just you're genuinely blind, or your eyes are always closed, right? Like how hard would that be? Yeah, just live blind then, and it's fine. People do that all the time. And so forget about the peripheral glasses thing. I guess that is a good way to deal with it, because if you keep those on all the time, then even if she's there, it'll be very clear that she's there, because you'll only see like what's directly in front of you, and so then you can just close your eyes. Whereas if and then when you sleep, you can have like blinders on or whatever. Yeah, but that's how I would easily solve it. So the last two I could solve simply. That one dumb bitch who keeps opening the door, just jump out the fucking window or something. Don't even open it, just break the fucking glass and jump out. And then this one, just do where the glasses are, just close your eyes all the time and seal them shut, so you never have to worry about it. Like, that's a small price to pay for not getting killed by the fucking monster. And so now, let me think. hello brother. I just had like a subliminal thought of Luigi's Mansion for some reason. Just talking about a brother, like, this is what Luigi said to Mario when he rescues him from the painting. That's one of the best horror atmospheres of a game. Not because it's scary, but it had such a sense of personality to it. I've only played the original one, but it's so good. Like, and it was just meant as a tech demo, but, you know, you're doing the whole Ghostbusters vibe, sucking up ghosts. There's all these portrait ghosts that have, like, a sense of personality to them. You know, they all have, like, a little gimmick or a theme. Like, one guy, you know, really likes books, so he's doing in the afterlife what he couldn't, reading all the books in the afterlife that he couldn't finish when he was alive, or something like that. He ate himself to death, but he still wasn't satisfied, for the glutton guy. So all that kind of shit, you know, has a great sense of personality. The whole vibe, the music, the visuals, everything was just, like, really stylistically on point. So this one is Hello Brother. Nothing to do with Luigi or Mario, surely. But that last one was good, especially to the point of how fast it was. But that guy is also a dumb piece of shit. Or, like, you don't even need the glasses then, by that logic. You could just close your eyes and you're fine. Right, so he's that stupid that he can't figure that out based on what she was doing. Even I figured that out just by watching this. Okay, so we're starting in 3, 2, 1. No, I messed up. Fucking. We're starting in 3, 2, 1. So I don't find any of these really scary, but they're just, you know, the last two were kind of interesting. The two before that were kind of not. It's going to be his ghost. I love the part where he sees his ghost of his dead brother and he says, hello, brother. That's one of the most used memes on YouTube. It's just, you take the name of something and say, I love the part where the name of the movie is said or happens. Smiley face, who is this hello, brother? That's a weird name. Can I call you hello, or do you want me to call you by your last name, brother? Can I call you bro for short? Can I call you he bro to combine your first and last name together? I don't have a brother. Or your brother's dead. Yes. Yes, you do, or yes, you don't? Yes, you do. I'm turning into like a comedy riff tracks type of thing, where I'm just trying to be a dick about everything they're saying. Just block his number. I can't even see it now. It's faded. I did, but not anymore. Okay, he's dead. He came back to life. And he came back to life to use a fucking phone. That's how you know it's a ghost. Seriously, who is this? I'll show you. Ooh. Paranormal things are like religion, you know, you believe in them only because you want to say, oh, people, whatever, live from the afterlife, it's all fucking bullshit, or it's just some, you know, some other process that people can't explain, right? So they call it supernatural. So if we did understand it, we wouldn't call it supernatural. That's the whole point, right? Like, what if it was a natural process that when people died, they become a ghost, and we could just explain how that process works, and then it would no longer be so mysterious. Like, okay, we know that happens, and then we'll invent some glasses that let us see them, like in They Live, except instead of seeing the zombie people, aliens, you see the fucking, you see ghosts or something like that. Now, why would you go in the darkness through this? Carry a flashlight, just flash the ghost, and he wouldn't have any malevolent intention either. Like, it's just your brother trying to connect with you, unless you had a bad relationship. You got a little silhouette in the thing. It's always a debate, like, how much physical presence ghosts should have. Like, you could easily find them. You could just bump into them, or you could have some object around them. Everything gets cold when they're around or something. Good little fake out, but he would have known that one was there at least. So the ghost must have moved that, or now we get another thing. Here we go, bro. What's under curtain number 2? I'm trying to troll this one for some reason. Watch until not I get scared, but watch until I laugh. Like, what the fuck do you think is under there? that proves it. There's nothing there. That proves there's no ghost. Because if it was a ghost, you could see it, of course. That's how ghosts work. Right? Like, it should have been you, I hate you. Okay, now you're revealing your true intent. Maybe he's the one who killed him, or again, it was just an accident, or he disappeared from the... Now that's what I call a portrait ghost. He escaped from the portrait that Egan put him into. Actually, pretty good references to the to Luigi's Mansion that I wasn't expecting. Yes, you can shoot a ghost with a gun based on its physical presence alone, and based on its... and maybe you could. Maybe that would be the rule set. Put like a blanket over it, and then it has physical presence, apparently, for that moment, and then kill it. You wouldn't shoot your brother. Well, you're already dead, so what do you have to lose? At least that gives you an easy target to shoot. Yeah, because that's totally how it would work. Now go look for the blood. Let's get an autopsy report. He's already dead. You would see your brother die a second time, you sick fuck. Or he just wants your company. He wants to join you. Or now the phone will go again. Whenever you use this modern technology, it makes it feel like a bit of a trope. Like, the ghost has an iPhone 6S or whatever the fuck. Like, the ghost has a modern iPhone. Why would you, even when his brother was alive, he didn't have that, but now even in undeath, he has access to one. Like, how did that happen? Right, like, what if the ghost didn't have access to a phone? Or it was like the same phone maybe he used in real life, but then he would have recognized the number. Late night tinkle, what the fuck? And yeah, that was even what it showed at the beginning, not really the thumbnail, or maybe, whatever, like some guy sitting on a toilet. Yeah, that's a real scary fantasy, right? Like a nightmare. You get trapped in a bathroom late at night with only one exit and no window, so you would just have to literally be like Mario and fucking escape through the toilet, through the pipes. Imagine you actually do that shit. That's what I would do. I'd be like this absolutist who clowns all these horror people, either like real people trying to kill you or even monsters and stuff. It's like I would just clown you. I'm in the bathroom, there's no doors or exits, and then you break the door down and you're like, where'd he go? I was sitting on the toilet. And like I somehow have this technique to, hide under the floor, or I go through the fucking pipes in the toilet like I'm Mario, and it's like you're just kind of clowning people because you're too smart or too resourceful. You like have an easy out for every situation. Right, you're just always prepared for anything. So you can maybe watch one more, I guess I would have time for, maybe not even. Let's see. I do like how short these are, because what that gives you protection against is, even if they're bad... Oh shit, we got like some concert traffic shit. Even if they're bad, right, you only have to sit through them for so long, right, before you get to the next one. But that one was okay, maybe like a C. Most of these have been middling. I rarely give out A's or F's, so those are very prestigious. So I don't think anything's earned either one. One of them was almost going to be an F, but then it saved itself by the ending actually showing you the kill of the one dude, the chick who escaped from the mental hospital. What was that called? Mulberry Night or something? I don't know what that means, so... Form 2... What is all this shit, dude? Okay, we'll start in a second. I'm just kind of distracted by this traffic a little bit, so let's just hang on. Yeah, we're having a bit of a tinkle. We're getting tinkled on by God right now. That's the rain. When God's mad, he strikes thunder. When he's sad, he cries, and it rains. Okay, so we're starting Night Tinkle 2016, award-winning short film. That is quite the strange name. We're starting in 3, 2, 1. Fucking fucked up. But no, the whole thing with you know, like I'm so desensitized and hardened to everything that I find horror stuff funny, actually. I'm laughing at it and making fun of it, so that's the whole draw here. You know, psychology expert, desensitized film critic with balls of steel, mocks stuff that other people find scary. So now we're starting in 3, 2, 1. And I hit play basically as soon as I say 1. Oh, here we go, another one that involves phones. You know you're a horror monster if... She looks really young. Sounds like that's your problem. You chose... This is a very detailed message. Normally you just say a few things, I'm mad at you, but no, let's go through everything. I don't like the way you eat food, you chew too loudly, you do this wrong, you do that wrong. Or it'll be the very guy that she's talking shit to. But wait, this is a girl. Isn't that a guy in a girl's bathroom? That's the disturbing thing right there. Or now the guy just won't leave, so you'll keep hearing that for like an hour. Do we really need to see her on the fucking toilet, dude? Or like she doesn't like peeing when other people are around, even though they would have no idea that you are doing it. Yeah, you're the weird one asking if anybody's there in the bathroom. Why would you answer that? She's just like very particular, I guess, about how she pees. In this horror short, the characters shit themselves, not you, because it's not that scary. The only one shitting themselves is them, not me. It's gonna be your boyfriend that you're talking so much shit to. Normally it would just end right there, but good use of the mirror there, I suppose. You know, as much as the phone gives you light, it also gives them a target of where you are. So this could be all happening in a real life setting. This is why we need different gendered bathrooms. I like her ability to get... Oh shit, that's actually a hilarious punchline though. That one gets a B just for that reason. So it doesn't actually happen, she's just saying what might happen, like going into such great detail of what could happen. Okay, that's actually hilarious, the way they ended that one off. Do you want that to happen to me? as she's still bitching on the phone. But then just hold your piss and just go on the bus instead. By which I mean ride the bus, not pee on the bus, but that, I guess, it could work for that purpose too. I don't know why everything is so comical today. It's sort of fitting perfectly. The Luigi's Mansion thing was the sickest call ever, because it's like all the thing was hello brother. I didn't know it would have to do with a portrait, like the portrait ghost. I didn't know it would have to do with a ghost, although you could maybe guess that, like, whatever. I don't know how that was so on the nose, but okay, that's good enough for now. So this is fun. So tomorrow I'll try to watch an actual proper episode or movie based on one of these clips in my history. I'll have to do a little session beforehand to determine that. I can even do it at other random times. Like as I eat my dinner, I'll do a thing here too. Okay, so I'm continuing that horror playlist, and I should probably remember the name of it or who made it, but you can just look up, well, you can even just look up each individual video too, like as I'm saying what I'm watching. But basically it's a case where, whatever, it's like 464 videos. If you just look up horror short film and go by type in the filters on YouTube, you'll say playlist instead of like video. Look up playlist and then it'll show it. But whatever, I'll make sure to mention that next time. But yeah, the last one we watched in this was the like Late Night Tinkle, which was a funny name, and it actually had a pretty funny ending to it as well. Just the fact that she's using the bathroom or whatever, and she gets whatever attacked in the bathroom, but then it ends with her, it starts with her bitching on the phone to her boyfriend, like, whatever, you better come pick me up. And then at the end it's revealed that the whole thing that we thought was happening is, it's just her bitching and telling a story that, you know, we thought the phone call had ended, but it's like, is that what you want to happen to me? She explains it in such graphic, great detail, but that was actually a pretty funny thing while still being effective at the same time. So that one gets at least like a B just for the creativity with that. So the next one here, and so what I'll do is I'll watch a couple of these and then I'll stop in the middle, but then I'll look through my history for like something that we can maybe watch on Hulu, like an actual episode of something or an actual movie based on one of the various clips that I've seen, right? So I'll sort of look through my clips a bit, and then beyond that we will actually watch that, whatever it is that we find. So this one is called The Mirror. So we're starting in 3, 2, 1. No, I fucked. Man, that buffer thing is a real nuisance. Every time you were doing something for the first time, it always does that. Okay, the Mirror, starting in 3, 2, 1. Starts with a little breaking glass, which is considered always like a bad omen or something, I forget. Or specifically with mirrors too, right? It's like stepping under a ladder or seeing a black cat. If you break a mirror, or if you see a broken mirror, something bad is gonna happen. This one has fucking subtitles though, which, again, I don't mind, but for this purpose of watching, it makes it impossible to, right, I'm already just kind of glancing at it, but how am I gonna read stuff too? Like when some of the ones have been involved texting and stuff. So I'm not going to hold that against it inherently, like it's a bad short film because of it, but it will at least hinder my appreciation of it. But then again, a lot of these don't have a lot of talking in them in the first place. So we get a nice little musical montage at the beginning here. A little bit too happy and upbeat, the music. So he's going to go to the bathroom and see a mirror, and the mirror is going to be cursed or haunted or cracked. Or one of the themes of some of these films is the endless repetition of something. Like you could be in a hallway, like the back rooms is such a big thing. You could be in a hallway and it just keeps going, or like how that one, The Long Walk, was like that. You just keep going on and on forever and it never ends. But that in itself can be scary, even if nothing's chasing you. It was like a lucid dream or something. I like the visuals of some of those things, like just the visuals and the music of like dreamcore, whatever they call it, dreamcore, liminal spaces, back rooms, analog video, like the whole vibe and all those type of things. Random terms, but I mean, they all have like a good thing to them. That's actually one of the things I wanted to do in this, is watch some of those, like analog horror, but it's hard to because there's so much text-based. Like, what is he doing, though? Why is he messing around with a mirror? Oh, it's his room. I thought he was just like in an office building and going to like a random... But he should at least look to see. Right, like I should see what's not clean about it. Or that indicates something's wrong. Like he should have insisted, no, it was clean. And now, you know, by him seeing that, he would know something's not right. Like somebody snuck in there. And people always leave their doors open so callously and shit. But no, if we rank or if we rate how many of these have been like real life things versus like supernatural things, or it's gone. But see, that could be one of those perspiration type things, right? Like you touch a glass with your wet hand and then it dries up. It leaves a fingerprint. That sort of thing could actually happen. That's like a real optical illusion type moment. And so now the screen goes black. The point is that how many of these have been real? And the only one I can think of off the top of my head is the one where, well, maybe that crazy woman one could have been, where she escapes from the mental asylum, like Mulberry Nights, but also the vanilla cake was 100% real. But again, it doesn't mean it's good because of that. It's just interesting to keep track. Some of these just have like a supernatural gimmick. I love what these represent somehow in style. There's like a certain unintentional ASMR, or like they create a good atmosphere, but the payoffs are sometimes so stupid, and they kind of cuck you too of getting a true payoff because you just see it for a second, but you don't actually see it kill anybody. So I guess that's where Mulberry Nights actually succeeds on both levels. The fact that you see, so you see his reflection is behaving differently than him. His reaction was a little bit delayed though, and I guess it's just so silent that it makes it seem almost comical. But that's not even the same mirror that he was looking at before, was it? But no, it's like Mulberry Nights both dealt with non-supernatural stuff, where it's just a crazy escaped person from an insane asylum. And number two is that it ends on a note where you actually see her kill the guy, I think. Right? It doesn't just end with seeing her appear. I'm pretty sure that was the same one at least. Even though that wasn't one of the best ones we've seen, it still had at least it addresses two of the issues or tropes that I sometimes am pointing out. This one seems almost complicated somehow, like there'll be a nuance to the mirrors overall, like we could turn it into some sort of Inception premise movie. Right, like, oh, he was in a mirror the whole time. Like whether he's in the real world or he goes into a mirror himself. Speaking of the endless trope, like, what is this, Super Mario 64 with the endless staircase, but also with the jumping into paintings, but instead of paintings, they're mirrors. Yeah, I don't feel remotely like uncomfortable or scared by this, though. It's kind of just the premise is too like long-winded, where like we get the point, but so what? But that is the one condition. If I do get scared at any one of these, genuinely scared even once, I will stop watching this playlist as like a punishment or like a failure state condition. And this has like some weird visual effect where everything is like sort of slowed down sometimes. Or who do you think you are? The guy who made Man on Fire starring Denzel Washington, where there's all these crazy effects? Oh, this is in Hindi, actually. Warden. Oh, so you're in like a... Are you in like a insane asylum already, or... Yeah, this guy wants to be fucking lazy and not do anything, though. The guy, he keeps telling him to check the room. He won't even check the room. Now he says... These effects are stupid, though. Yeah, but like, who do you think you are? The guy who made that with all these unnecessary effects that movie had as well? The guy who made Ek Ajnabi, which is a copy of the Bollywood copy of Man on Fire, which is actually pretty good. In some ways, I actually like it better. Aside from the ending being a little bit stupid, the presentation there is actually quite good, too. Like a revenge story that is very common in Hindi cinema, especially with the guy who plays it, Amitabh Bachchan, who he had done that a lot when he was younger. So it was like the angry young man trope that he had, where he was always like an angry young man taking revenge on other people. But now it became like the angry old man because he was much older when he did that movie. Wait, this one's a little bit too long. But no, the use of the word warden makes it seem like you're in like some kind of a prison or insane asylum, even though it's not. I don't really get it. But yeah, these guys are lazy clowns who don't really want to check on your place at all. So the real bad guy is just the warden himself, or the guy who was going to get the warden. They could just mean it's like a property manager. But no, at first I didn't know what language it was in, but it's actually Hindi. Like, how many red flags do you really need before you get the fuck out of here? Like, if you're really gonna live here, of all things. It's one thing if you're just kind of hanging out, whatever, but what does that say, Vino? Or it'll say something in Hindi that I won't be able to tell. Yeah, a good thing that ghosts not only know how to use technology and a lot of these like phones to text you to scare you and stuff, but they also know how to write in every language possible, or, you know, whatever. But yeah, what about the warden guy who's supposed to check on your shit? He's saying it so casually, too. But now you have subtitles, but they're speaking in English, as people in India often do. They sort of mix English and Hindi together. Blame the British colonial influence. Oh, did it say the name, like, on there? No, but the acting there was actually pretty bad, the way he was saying, I think these things are windows to another soul, and this and that, like... What do you got, like a Rorschach test in there? They're making this one way too elaborate, bro. Just chill the fuck out, dude. This one's too long. It's trying too hard. Like, fuck off. Just give us the little gimmick jump scare that we know it's gonna end in anyway. Indian student found dead in his hotel room. can't even see what he's typing on Google here. I would love to analyze and make fun of the suggested too of what he's typing that probably has nothing to do with that. Okay, so we only had time to watch this one. In fact, I won't even have time to watch this one, which really makes no fucking sense at all. Okay, I won't even have time to watch the rest of this shit, so fuck it, dude. Okay, so here we can do like a little ASMR eating segment, I guess, like I would do sometimes, but I try not to do that while watching stuff so much. But here I'm going to go through like my history, I guess, on some of these shorts, and I'm going to see which ones are actually going to be watchable as a series and which ones are going to be specifically on Hulu, I guess. So we'll go, it takes a little bit of work to even find them. Let me see. There's this Ariana Grande thing that's like, oh, she said she would have liked to have dinner with Jeffrey Dahmer, which I don't mind that as a take. Like, people are getting all mad about it. So, like, what's really wrong with saying that? It's like saying, if you're a history buff, yeah, maybe I'd want to have dinner with Hitler. Doesn't mean that you like the guy. It's just like, you're curious, you want to hear his thoughts, maybe you could have changed his mind. So to simply be interested in something doesn't mean that you like it. It's just more like, you know, you're curious about it, but there are all kind of fallacies with that. Like, if you bring up a certain subject, oh, you must be associated with that. But, like, so if you've read a book in history about, like, you know, you've read Mein Kampf or something, you know, Hitler wrote it himself, so it's like, does that mean you like him, or does that mean you're just interested in history? And then they'll highlight that, right? Oh, you read that. But what about the thousands of other books you've read about other historical leaders, some of them considered good, some of them considered bad? So it doesn't mean you're vouching for them or you agree with every single one. You're just curious about it, and you've read collectively, you know, you've read about every possible one in history. So that doesn't mean you're associated with all of them. Right, you'll be defined by like Kyrie Irving with that documentary. Maybe you've seen every documentary in existence, Triumph of the Will, too, a Nazi propaganda documentary. But then you've also seen countless other ones. So does that mean you're defined by both? It doesn't mean you agree with them. You're just curious. There's a certain value to them still, historical context. So you could have seen literally thousands of movies, read thousands of books, but oh no, you read this one that's objectionable to people, so now you'll be defined by that. Why not be defined by all of them? So then it'll even contradict. Like, you watch one that is pro-Nazi, you watch one that is anti-Nazi, so like, which side are you really going to be on? So are you going to be like defined and labeled as being, you know, associated with? So let's see, I'm not really finding any shorts here that I saw. I keep getting suggested this guy, I don't know, Sterling's stuff, just because I watched like one of them, or that's because I'm watching horror stuff. Yeah, here's the Ariana Grande thing. People get mad about such random things. Skinwalker pretends to be a person's dog because it looks like it's sitting up, but it's some kind of weird trick of the camera, I guess. Steak from the dollar store. Like, these are all just random things that I watch. I mean, what would you expect it to be? Like, he ends up feeding it to his dog. Damn, we're not getting anything. I can't tell whether they're shorts or whether they're, like, it'll be considered, because they're shown in, like, different sections of your history. So, or that's something I wanted to watch, too, was, like, some court stuff, like killer reactions to their confessions and stuff. Really, I'm not seeing a single one. This is like from last night, I guess, that I had been seeing these. Let me see. 8 most disturbing things caught on. I feel like we skipped some stuff here. Maybe I didn't see it somehow in a way that would show up on this account. I swear there were some other things. Killer clown shot down. What else? It's like these stupid shorts that are meant to be like, yeah, but I like that as a fallacy, or, you know, it's something that's very common. Like, just because you're associated with something, right? Like, you talk about one subject at one time, therefore you'll be associated with that forever. But you've also talked about a million other subjects at other times. So, like, why did they choose to fixate on that one? Just because it's, like, considered controversial or bad or something like that? Okay, there must be one here. This is weird. Not a single one. I guess they just must be from before, or I saw them somewhere else. It'll be one of those stupid ones with, like, commentary over it. Or now it's kind of looping what I had just seen before. What the hell? Being a park officer, these are just like random real life kind of clips. Refuse to tip the waitress. Okay, this looks like actually one of those kind of things. Let's see what it's from. It has that same fucking stock free, no royalty music, like where you can just use it infinitely, so they certainly take advantage of it. I don't know what the song is called. I should somehow find that out, but they won't even tell you the name. Somebody, like, mad about a tip or something. But this isn't even a horror thing. The whole fallacy with tips, like, there's like a million comments, but nobody will actually say what it's from. And people should be paid more. Let me see. What the fuck is going on, dude? Okay, I guess we'll skip that one because nobody seems to know what it's from. Nobody's mentioning that. Kind of mixed. Like, nobody cares about what the show actually is. It's like a rude customer that somebody's talking about Yu-Gi-Oh. What the hell is it? What is this comment? Ken is a normal teen. I never watched Yu-Gi-Oh. Demons of Hell, rulers of that place. Has nothing to do with the video. So they're kind of fat-shaming this couple, but they didn't tip because they didn't like her service or something. But you shouldn't get on confrontation about tips either and kind of bother people about it. Okay, I can't find anything. I don't know what happened. But that was at least one of the things that would register as a clip. So you go further. I guess it doesn't even have to be horror, but just anything that would be like anything that would be an actual clip from a series, and then that series would have to be, are you safe? This is just a Dreamcore type of clip itself. That's not actually, this is actually really surprising how annoying it is to find anything here. All I would need is one, and then that one would need to be that one would then turn out not to be on Hulu itself. I really didn't expect it to be this hard to find a single clip on something. Now you got to see that Orson Welles thing of Bond, even though I forgot that was supposed to be a comedy. So they took Casino Royale, but they turned it into like a comedy with Peter Sellers, and somehow Orson Welles plays the villain. This is amazing, actually. There's not a single clip in here that's actually from one of these, even though I feel like I see these all the time. Okay, we'll give it one more chance here. I guess the problem is they all go back to the top again, too. It's like a whole bait template to, Bro is ready to throw hands. Now, is this from something? No, it's not. I guess we could just keep doing that playlist. Okay, so I had been watching The Mirror, but I'm not even going to bother finishing it. It's way too long. It was kind of boring. It was stupid. I don't even care how it ends. It's just dumb. And so we'll just move on to the next one. Maybe my expectation with some of these is wrong. That I think they're going to be like, just because they're short films, a film could be 2 hours. So, even 10, 15 minutes is still short. But I'm expecting them to be like 3 to 5 minutes, which those are sometimes the better ones because that's all this is just a gimmick, like a one-off gimmick. So this next one is Peekaboo, so that one I won't even grade, like, I don't care. Right, the acting, the dialogue, some of it was stupid. Right, when he's talking about, I think these mirrors are a door to another dimension, and just the way he said it was like so unconvinced. Not even just like, oh, the actor, but even the character just sounds like he doesn't even know what the fuck he's trying to say. So we're starting peekaboo in 3, 2, 1. No, we're not. Whenever I say that, it's not, because YouTube has some stupid ass thing where it buffers for like, it might not be a meaningful amount of time, but we'll do it now. So we're starting in 3, 2, 1. And of course there could be more than one of these films called peekaboo, but whatever. This is, you'll know maybe based on what I'm saying. I like the part where the title flashes and it says peekaboo, and that scares you itself, right? Like the title itself is saying peekaboo to you, literally, but you get a little music montage here. Isn't that how the last one started too? With yeah, we need like an Allison Williams type girl over here. That'll really spruce up your horror stuff. Oh, not another one where I have to read the shit, though. Want to play a game. What are you, the dude from Saw? Old school pranking wasn't so sophisticated. Now they would say, if she had said no, she would have been perfectly fine. What is her picture? Like a parrot? You know, like, you'd come up with an AI deepfake of this person naked to try to troll them and shit like that. Okay, now we get an ad, so the whole thing is ruined. I wouldn't even mind, like, re-watching again from the beginning to try to make up for that, because that is fucking disgusting. There's nothing I can do. I mean, it just completely ruins the whole experience. So we're starting in 3, 2, 1. At least it happened early on. Or it's usually a delay of, like, 5 seconds, but that's so annoying to keep track of. Like, it'd be a delay of 5 seconds to the extent that I would skip it as soon as it lets you, and that usually is like a 5-second delay. So we restarted, so we'll see her at her computer. Why you gotta have an ad in a short, dude, or have it at the beginning or at the end, like before it starts? From this angle, she kind of looked like Allison Williams. That's why I was saying that. Maybe I just see Allison Williams everywhere I look. That was even the first series that I decided to react to. She has a very photogenic face. Like, it's actually almost uncanny. Right? Some people are just like that. You know, Anya Taylor-Joy, Allison Williams, maybe somebody else. Ellen Page, if she hadn't gone down the path she's gone down. I always made that joke about Ellen Page, like Elliot Page now. They're the one person who made both genders confused about their sexuality. Because I had a crush on her when she was obviously still Ellen. And then a lot of people, you know, like, you may be attracted to her now, or to them now. So you'll make a straight, I don't know, like, let's say you're a straight woman who's attracted to Ellen Page before she transitioned. You're like, okay, now I'm going to go lesbian for you, Ellen. And then she changes to Elliot. Okay, now I'll go back to being straight for you again. Right. Like, you're just completely playing with people's perceptions that way. But I kind of stopped paying attention to what was happening. You know what, I kind of feel like it's some ice cream. I don't know why, just randomly. I guess it's hot outside. Peekaboo, you were really thirsty. It could just be a lucky guess. I scare you, I win. Kind of like the rule set of this whole playlist, too. Why is this music so fucking upbeat? I like your stuffed animals. They could just be looking through your fucking webcam. Like, how hard would that be as a hack? A lot of people have stuffed animals. This guy could just be a mentalist who's guessing your shit. Or you should call the police, but don't tell them that you are. Such a big house for someone like you. You must have a family. This music is kind of badass, but it's too upbeat for this type of subject matter. You know, I would want to find this track. What is the song? But it'll just be some song made just for this, so you'll never be able to actually find it. I hate when that happens. Why would you open your door, first of all? And then why would you go outside? And then if you do go outside, why would you go back in? Why would you leave the door open? Why wouldn't you just leave, just go for a late night drive? You got the balloon, but what is looking at the balloon or touching the balloon going to do? Is it going to be like a creepy clown type of thing? Now she'll go back and say, okay, you win, I'm scared, so stop. Yeah, nice one. Nice little jump scare with the balloon popping. Didn't get me at all, dude. It should have blood coming out of it, too. I see you with a picture. So this wouldn't even have to be supernatural. It could just be a dude who's just stalking you and looking at you. So you know what you said a few minutes ago, that, oh, I'm calling the police. You should have already done that. Right? Don't just use that as an empty threat. What happened? Why didn't she say anything, though? Her phone seems bugged out, but... I mean, this is at least dedication. I would feel kind of special if somebody tried to do this to me. Like, you're going through all this trouble with the text and the thing. I'm here, look out your window. Don't. How about you don't? Don't indulge their fucking shit. Oh, gee, I wonder if I'll get scared by... gratuitous little butt shot there. You left your door unlocked. Yeah, you're kind of a clown. Or maybe you didn't, but he just broke in somehow anyway, because they always do that. Now the whole vibe has changed. It's definitely something to do with clowns, just based on the music and everything. I don't know, these last couple have been kind of boring, actually. They're either too long, you're kind of dragging it out, or, oh shit, he put the stuffed animals up on the fan, like they have those for like kids. I forget what they're called. Just to keep them entertained, you put like something like that over their head. How about you just like don't indulge his entertainment, like... Theresa Eschbacher, or it's going to be her who's actually doing it. You left the sliding glass door open. Yeah, that's the one thing that's a real fear factor in real life, is like, it'd be so easy to break into somebody's house if you were so inclined. Not that I'm encouraging it, but like, you know, your windows are such an easy spot. Oh, they'll have to break your door down. No, they could just break your window, right, and just jump in through there if they really wanted to. So unless your house doesn't have windows, you wouldn't be worried, because, you know, or you'd be worried about the thing. But yeah, this guy was too telegraphing of his moves. Okay, there's a bit of a 5-second delay there, so that delay ends now. So that we're like 5 seconds back from whatever it would have been. I don't know how to... That just shows you it's too long right there. Like, the fact that it has multiple ads in it. Or like they always use this gratuitous door opening where it's just nobody's actually there. But no, I'd be almost impressed by this dude. If you're willing to go through this much trouble for one random chick, it's going to turn out that it was the Theresa chick that we saw there. Or wow, look at that extremely gratuitous butt shot. What the fuck was that? And now we get into one of those glare type moments where I can't see anything. Her acting isn't bad, but don't you have a weapon, a gun, a boyfriend to protect you, something? Or they always use these like where it's a ghost, but they have like a little cloth over them or something. Or look, he lost his bulge. He lost his ghost erection. So this one's definitely in the realm of the supernatural. Did I scare you? I mean, you're practically crying, so just give him a satisfaction that yes, I scared you. A little devil emoji. These types of stories on a basic level are just kind of so dumb because it's like somebody's gonna get stalked and then they're gonna get killed and then it just ends. So like, what is that really? You know, there's no like moral message or anything. Bad people get away with crimes if they have supernatural powers or if they're really creepy, and so that's all there is to it. There's nothing else to learn aside from maybe that these characters are stupid. Or like that ending wasn't enough of a loud thing or a jump scare or like a, you know, and it's always like some generic looking thing too that has nothing, like there's no real, it could just be anything. It could be a clown, could be a creepy grudge girl, it could be anything. But no, it's like, whatever, it's just... That one was pretty long, so I'm not sure what to even give it. Like, I can appreciate the effort that goes into it, but I don't know, let's just watch the next one. We need something a little, but no, there's not enough of either the girl screaming, or a lot of these actually don't have that. Like, you would expect, oh, they're gonna scream or something, but they just don't do anything. Like, why not? Isn't that a common trope that we should see more often? I keep seeing like a million ads for this Maxine shit too. But see, this ad I don't even mind because it's like, man, navigating this on the phone is just fucking so annoying, dude. The fact is that, whatever, that Maxine shit, but at least that's at the beginning. Yeah, I don't even know what to rate that one. Let's just get like back to normal ones where they're not like trying so hard. Look behind you, horror thriller, year 11 short film. I don't know what that means, year 11. So we're starting in 3, 2, 1. Or I couldn't tell actually whether that was a good thing, so I'll start again. So hopefully it won't be so long, or that it won't have ads like in the middle there. So we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1. Or no, I messed it up again. Holy shit, dude. That one was actually just my fault though, because Okay, we're starting in 3, 2, 1. This just in, a 10-year-old murder mystery has just been reevaluated after new evidence has come on the rise. That was a lot of exposition, so I don't like to talk over it too much, but or this one's going to be long as shit too, I bet, because it's introducing like a whole hour's worth of exposition, unless that's just the ending of it, which should be a lot. But no, so the guy chloroformed people there or messed with their shit, got them closed down, then he killed the new owner, so he's just kind of hanging around there. Right at the hospital, but I thought it was bulldozed down, so how could they even... Right, they bulldozed it down for some other purpose, or maybe it was going to be, and then he stopped it from being, because he killed them, so then the project stalled. Yeah, did you know that chloroform is actually a fetish? Like to, knockout fetish for some people. Not that you should do it, obviously, well, you shouldn't do it even in a role-play consensual sense, but whatever. It's some sort of weird fetish that people have, like just seeing people getting knocked out and things like that. So in the fantasy sense, like, you find it interesting to see it in fiction, that's one thing. But you wouldn't want to do it even in a role-play sense with a consensual partner because you don't want to actually chloroform them. They could pretend to be, I guess, but... Right, like those kind of things are dangerous, so... Almost as dangerous as erotic asphyxiation, which people do all the time. Imagine dying like that. Like, imagine that being written on your tombstone. Cause of death, erotic asphyxiation. It's like where you hold your breath and you get extra sexual pleasure as a result of it. Getting like choked during sex or whatever. Clearly nature intended that to be the thing. Right, like all these ways that people find to subvert or accentuate certain things, like, nature didn't intend for you to near suffocate yourself just to increase your sexual pleasure. Some of these are getting like way too elaborate, man. This isn't the point of this. I'll just watch a whole regular movie if I want then. Is this going to show like when Miles got killed in the house, like when he was investigating, or somebody else is going to be investigating it even now. Not saying unsolved cases like that don't happen in real life either, but it's just like, I don't know, sometimes it's sensationalized too much. Gives you like an exciting challenge of trying to catch this guy or trying to whatever, and you wouldn't even feel bad for delivering vigilante justice upon him, but they'll probably still catch you for it. Like, not only will the police not do their jobs themselves, but they'll punish you if you do their job for them. That shows you their, like, for exposing their futility. Or this will be like a bait to try to get you where there's like more than one person doing this stuff. The whole glare aspect makes this very hard too. Syringes always make me a little bit uncomfortable just looking at people getting them. Not that should be a normal sight that you're seeing, but just even in a movie fictional sense. That, and then seeing people cut themselves like we saw that in one of the previous ones. It's one thing just to like see somebody die, right? Like if somebody just gets shot in the head, that doesn't bother me too much. But these people look way too young to be doing this shit too. The way this guy's talking is like he's trying too hard to be evil or something. The guy who just shot her. And now I'm going to kill you too, so that you can rest and be peaceful with her as well. So does that mean those are the ones who are the crazy people doing the chloroform stuff? But it doesn't seem like it because they'd be too young and stuff. I don't get it. I really can't follow exactly what's happening, but maybe it's not really that supernatural of a thing, though, because it's to do with chloroform and guns and, you know, more hands-on stuff. Like, nobody will ever be prepared with either a gun or a flashlight or anything, accompanied by somebody having a gun, having a flashlight, having 10 years later. So now he's going to be tortured too, I guess. Or what did it say earlier? I don't even know. Now another ad, it's just not even, why are these so long, bro? I'm going to start skipping them if they're this long. The shorts themselves, this is stupid. This is not why I'm watching these. It's not even bad, it's just like, it's too much shit. It's only like halfway through. I'm gonna watch the rest of it, but we're getting kind of a bad glare too. So he's fucking with the chloroform stuff. Yeah, and I always respect the artistry that goes into these, but I don't mean that... I don't know if that means that it necessarily makes it good. It's just sometimes a lot of fluff. Now it'll end with some dinky jump scare, and then the screen will go black, just like every other one of these. So he's an expert on all this chloroform type bullshit. I couldn't tell whether it said 10 years earlier or later, and of course I can barely even see the fucking screen. Maybe this is a bad time to do this kind of stuff in the day when it's like all sunny, because you will get the glare from it. And the one guy's voice is like he's trying too hard. They put so much effort into these, it's like, why not just make a whole fucking movie then? I mean, the budget of this was probably pretty, considerable just for considering the length. This thing will operate under Super Bowl ad sort of revenue, like every 30 seconds is like $1 million worth, not that much, but... Or yeah, like imagine putting one of these on your resume, like you were in this, and therefore you use that to audition for an actual big Hollywood movie. It's not a bad thing, but... The way that guy talks is a little weird too. On the news, like they were left to bleed out. Like when would they ever say it like that? That might be true, but I've never heard that before when describing a murder incident. I like the part where they say, "Look behind you," and he looks behind him. Or you already know that Miles is dead because you already heard that thing. Some of these are pretty hard to follow, and I don't know what to do about the glare aspect either. It's basically impossible to stop it. Only when it's like really dark, but then, I can't see shit. Or why does he keep repeating this shit? It keeps looping the fucking creepy recorded guy's message. I like that as a trope too. Where like, I can't remember what that's from even. Like, it had it in like so she was just putting on the creepy act, but she really was just trying to get rid of him, I guess. Like that Resident Evil demo, I forget what it was called, playable teaser or some shit, and it was like the guy would start to get very sick on the radio. He's talking about all these things, and he starts to become gleeful about it. But yeah, I like that idea of trying to make somebody think they're crazy or haunted because you do it in such an elaborate way, but it's actually not. That'd be like a fun premise for a series, actually. Like, pretend it's like a detective show, kind of, where you're trying to catch bad people, but you do it by gaslighting them into thinking they're haunted or something so they confess their crime, right? So like Patrick Jane-esque level Sherlock Holmes comes up with this elaborate gambit where you see this lady at work, and then you see her later, and then you see her at your house, and it's like you're setting it up in a way that makes it seem supernatural when it's really not, and they're doing all these tricks and gambits to convince you, again, to either get you to confess or to something else. Right, is that actually what's happening to you? You're pretending? That's kind of hot. I like how you're role-playing as this grudge girl who has no actual supernatural powers. And then they got happily married. But no, that's such a cool idea. Like, you're using the supernatural appearance to look behind you. Or maybe, I don't know what the fuck was going on, but yeah, like, so you start off and it's like, you know, oh, we're trying to catch this pedophile, but he'll never admit it and he's too smart. So then we have this little girl, like, haunt him, so make him think that he's gonna, whatever, right, sort of lure her in, but actually she's haunting him like a ghost. And that'll both be a karmic justice thing, but it'll also be, it'll get him to confess, like, oh, please don't kill me. He's crying in his bathroom, hiding from her after believing she's supernaturally powerful because of all the displays and gambits and tricks that they put on. And so now he confesses his crime, and then they record that, and then, you know, then they arrest him. That would be such an awesome idea. There might be individual cases like that in shows like that, like The Mentalist or Monk or Psych or something, but not like every single one, right? For that to be like the premise of a show. Like, I can almost guarantee there's never been a show quite like that. Maybe Scooby-Doo is like that, where they sometimes, you know, they'll pretend to be a monster themselves to scare the killer, but normally it's not really like that. They just try to find out who it is, I feel like, using maybe more conventional means and stuff. So that one I didn't really like too much either. I'm not even going to give them... All these ones today have been a drag. So we're at a point in the playlist where they're super long, and I just don't like that. So that's not what I was trying to watch these for, but let's watch like maybe one more. It's going to be Hidden. So we're starting in 3, 2, 1. No. We're starting in 3, 2, 1. I'm not entirely convinced by that, so I'll try again. We're starting in 3, 2, 1. There's always like a black screen at the beginning, but I can't tell whether that's actually part of it. Woolly Film and TV presents, or like Wool Eye, a Restless Dreams production, or a Restis Dreams production. Maybe they misspelled their own fucking name. Or maybe Restless Dreams is already taken, so they had to do Rest Is. that's like a fantasy of mine. I find that alpha and badass, how somebody who might not be supernatural was just pretending to be like, oh, he's gone, like she was just putting on the act to scare him away. That is kind of an alpha hot thing to do. All this overuse of phones and technology and shit. At Queese, which has something to do with horses, it's actually a play about horses. But if you can do a better prank, then do call me back. How about you just block their number? I'll hide from you by not letting you call me anymore. But you are in my house. This is where you just leave your house and fucking get out of there. But everybody indulges in like, yeah, let's actually play a game with this fucking ghost. Now, is that music in the story, or is it just in the background? Sometimes you have to wonder, like maybe the ghost put on some CD that is playing all this shit. Very hypnotic pendulum motion there, and the guy is indeed very intrigued by it. It's like too brightly lit and everything for me to even be remotely scared of this though. He's got a nice fucking house too. This is what the rich kids do these days. They make short horror films and post them to YouTube. Like the average TikToker in some rich house. Some girl, you know, some cute young girl, not by my words, but who's like doing some dance TikTok shit in their $1 million home. Where it's like, everybody tries the same fucking thing, but you're even showing it too. Really? Just like that? It's that easy? Or I guess you could do it yourself if you were really so inclined. Right, if you're just really that tech savvy. That was kind of funny, the way that guy talked, the 911 operator. I guess obviously not for real, but what if you did that too? Like, you make a prank horror film, or not a prank, but you make a horror film, but I would actually call the cops and actually tell them what's happening and see what their actual response would be, and I would just keep that on the film. But then obviously you're causing problems for them, but they they won't believe you basically, so they won't come out anyway. There's too much like sitting around and being curious about stuff and not really doing anything that these characters do. Right, like, oh, we just got haunted by a fucking ghost, let's just sit here and jerk ourselves off. Or like it's moving the knife away even. So this one's clearly supernatural as well. Does that mean that, oh, that's its weakness? It's scared of knives. Knives are a ghost's weakness. All Kind of random objects moving around and stuff. Yeah, we've gotten into a weird part of the playlist that's getting actually quite boring. That they're all either too long or they're trying too hard, but it's okay. And like the production quality has kind of dropped off too. Like that Indian one was kind of low production value, even though it was a bit longer. This is just like some dude in his house. The music and sounds and stuff in the background are pretty good, or how they're doing these effects even is pretty good too. Right, when it's something that's not even off camera, like how are they actually doing this on this low budget? Like the way to do it cheaply would be have something happen off screen that somebody else could be doing, and then show it only after. Right, like, oh, that door opened, but you don't show the door actually open. You show that you play the sound and then you show it after or something. Yeah, please, I'll prank you again so you get to... How do you just track your call history that easily? Like, can cops even really do that? Even if you consent to it, I don't know. Like, they can if they really need to, but... But yeah, like, I would prank them on purpose just so they send... Man, these are way too long. Like, I would send somebody myself or I would prank them again just so they actually do send somebody to protect me from whatever shenanigans are happening. Okay, so today, kind of unexpectedly, but this is the opportunity that doing this sort of thing gives me, is the presidential debate was yesterday between Biden and Trump. This is the first one of the 2024 presidential run, and so I'll react to, it's like an hour 38 minutes long, I guess. Maybe there's a bit of an intro, but whatever. Hour 38 minutes, I'll watch like maybe half now and half the next time, or even that might still not be enough. But whatever, I can do at least some of this, so I'll just do it like how I would do some content like this in the past. I wouldn't do a lot of it, but I would talk about a lot of subjects like this. So, like, here's one little thing about Trump, right, that I find strange about the perception of it, especially from like people from other countries. You see this in YouTube comments and stuff, like people being dismissive of Trump, right? That like, oh, 74 million people who voted for him the last time, and even 60 million plus the first time, they'll just discredit them, like, oh, everybody who votes for Trump is crazy, this and that. That's what I don't do, at least. I don't necessarily like him either, right? But, so I'm not saying you should vote for him, I'm not saying I like him, but there's a difference between just saying you don't like somebody and saying that everybody who votes for them you're just going to try to discredit. That's lazy, and it's not even logical. And the reason why is because those same countries, right? Somebody will be from a different, from some country in Europe or Asia or whatever, right? And they're typing a YouTube comment that says like, oh, of course, how could anybody vote for Trump? Meanwhile, 74 million people did vote for him. So what that means is, even the last time, even after, all this negative press and stuff. So the point is you're discrediting 74 million adults of voting age, which is larger than the entire population of most countries in the world. So imagine just doing that. Like, oh yeah, let's just discredit every single person who lives in Switzerland and just all their opinions are invalid and they're all just crazy. Or everybody who lives in Britain, or everybody who lives in, any country that isn't China, Mexico, or Russia. Not Mexico. China, Russia, or India. Only those three countries really have, right, that many people, 74 million people who would be adults of that same age group, right? I can't think of too many other countries. So those three countries, anything besides that, you're discrediting the population. Again, not just the total population, but 74 million is more than most countries in the world, period, but especially 74 million adults of voting age. So I find that very strange, and that's something that I'm not going to do, right? I'm not going to discredit them. I'm going to understand certain aspects of what they're about and what the mindset is, and I can respect that to a degree. So that's what I don't understand. You also casually dismiss, oh yeah, 74 million people, that's just some marginal, crazy fringe group. Also, it's 10 times the population of my country that I live in, right, whatever it might be, or again, more than the population of most countries on the planet. But oh no, that's just some marginal fringe group, right? The entire half of the American population is now suddenly fringe. Like, is that the case, or is it that some perception is wrong? So that's what I have observed that I don't like about the media's treatment of Trump, is that even from the beginning, like in 2016, right, I'm not really too interested in it. I look at him the same way I look at Hillary in the 2016 election. Like, I'm not a fan. I don't really care. They're both just, the same sort of people that I wouldn't, I don't see why people dig in so hard. Like, Hillary's just a career politician. He's just this rich guy who had a TV show that people liked, like The Apprentice, whatever. So none of that really matters to me too much. And so I don't have a horse in the race. But the way they talked about him was like, there's no way he could have possibly won, and I had no expectation that he was going to. I thought he was going to lose in a blowout, right? This is why they call it fake news. That's the perception I was given, even as somebody who takes the media with a grain of salt. But they were acting like, he has a 0% chance of winning. So I thought, okay, maybe he has like a 5% chance, whatever, right? But there's no way I actually thought he would win. But that shows you how wrong they were. Not wrong on a moral level or anything like that, but on an objective basis. They gave the impression that he could not win, but he won. So that they lose all credibility right there. And then the same thing in 2020. Even though he lost, right, this is what feels sort of unnatural about it. Even though he lost, Trump got more votes than he did the first time, which normally, for most presidents, you would consider that a win. Like, just as an example, Obama got less votes in 2012 than he did in 2008. So he lost. People consider Obama to be a good president, 2008 to 2012, right? Generally, he has a favorable opinion, but he lost votes despite being considered favorable, right? And yet he still won. But Trump not only, he's considered unfavorable and terrible and this and that, worst president ever, but he gained votes from 2016 to 2020. So how would you explain that? And the explanation is a disconnect between the average person and their own ability to make their own decisions, and the corporate-owned media that is clearly taken a side. Now, again, it doesn't matter even if you're on that side that you don't like him, you don't want to vote for him. That's fine, right? Maybe I would agree with that or whatever. At least I'm not. I don't have to, take a hard position, but I'm not going to say I didn't vote for him before. I don't really care to vote for him. I'm not the reason why he won in 2016, right? And I didn't think he would win anyway. But it's turned into something else where I at least have to take an objective middle ground position. So that middle ground position would just be, the whole premise is that I'm not going to discredit 74 million people. Again, doesn't mean I have to agree with them. I'm just not going to completely dismiss them the way that a lot of people do. And then second of all, I'm not going to dismiss even his presidency because he gained more, right? He had 60 plus million votes the first time, then he had 74 million the second time. So in most presidents' book, you would say, I did a great job, right? And it's very unnatural that somebody else would randomly just get 81 million who is just a vice president in his most notable role for Obama, and somebody who has run twice before and didn't even become the nominee. There's something about that feels unnatural and forced, and it's mostly the corporate-owned media propaganda that really push that. And people are always so apt to pick on Fox News, but they don't see the process the other way. Right, like Fox News is obviously biased and pro-Republican, right side, etc. But you don't see the CNN and NBC, ABC, Washington Post, etc. might all lean the other way. Even social media networks like Twitter used to, and all this, like, you can see bias one way, like, Elon Musk took over Twitter, now it's all, right this, right that. But you don't see that before it was a little left this, left that. So it's not saying that anybody's objective or perfect, but you should be able to see bias in both sides, regardless of what side you're on. That's the whole definition of bias, right? So, like, I could have an opinion, but that doesn't mean I'm going to act like it's not an opinion anymore. That's what's happened, right? People might feel, Trump is bad, or they don't like Trump, but now they turn it into, it's just objectively true that Trump is bad, and anybody who votes for him is just crazy and discredited, and, you're just doing the objective wrong thing. Not that they could hear all the hype and propaganda around it and still come to their own conclusion that, no, we just disagree, right? You're asserting opinion as though it is fact. And the final point is just, this is how you really discredit on an objective level. This is the process that disturbs me. This is how you discredit candidates who are considered problematic for the power structure. So in the United States, it's not exactly the same as in other countries where normally it would be state-controlled media, like in China or Russia or something like that. Instead, it's corporate owned, so you can say, oh, that's free press. But even if it's free press, that free press can still be owned by billionaires and corporate interests and therefore align with a particular party. And so when that power structure considers, oh, Trump is a problematic candidate, what do? They run nonstop negative press, and they also try to get him on all these charges. Oh, they try to impeach him. They try to get him convicted of a crime here. And so the point being that he's one of those, like in Russia, he would just end up dead. Or in China, he would just end up arrested or something like that. So in the U.S., you're seeing the same process at work. Whether you want to admit it or not, that is the process that's happening. Now, that doesn't mean that Trump's a good guy. That doesn't mean he's on your side. That doesn't mean that you should even vote for him. But you should be very alarmed with the process nonetheless, because that is exactly what happens in China. That is exactly what happens in Russia. And the real culprit is not, oh, the Democratic Party or Joe Biden, although that is, seemingly the problem. The problem is that the media has taken a clear side. Collectively, every single major network besides Fox has taken a clear side. And so when that happens, that side becomes emboldened to do whatever they want. So now it seems like now you have a situation where that's all it would take to create a one-party state, right? Trump is the big bad thing, any Republican is a big bad guy, and now all of a sudden, it doesn't become vote for us because we're good, it becomes vote against them because they're bad, and so only, it becomes the only right option. You don't have a choice, because if you do the one thing, oh, you're horrible, and we're gonna, blacklist you or whatever, and they're even trying to do that to him. So that's the disturbing nature of the process, right? Two things can be true. He might still be a bad president, a bad guy, you don't like him, but you have to see through that and not. So the real solution is nobody in their right mind would vote for Joe Biden. Oh, that sounds like I'm talking about how people talk about Trump, but nobody would do it because, how can I explain it? Like, even if you don't like Trump, then don't vote for him. That's how elections work. If you don't like somebody, don't vote for them. And if you have conviction in somebody, vote for them. But don't do this false duality of, you don't like Trump, therefore you're voting for Biden just to spite him, or even vice versa. You don't like Biden, so therefore you're voting to spite Trump. Even that might make, you're voting for Trump just to spite Biden. That might make more sense though still, because Trump is just a private citizen right now, whereas Biden is at least the acting president, so you could at least say, I'm not happy with the current administration, so therefore I'm going to vote for Trump. That still is false duality, and you shouldn't do it. You should vote for somebody who you specifically have conviction in, but at the very least that makes a little more sense. But it makes no sense to say, I don't like Trump, therefore I'm blindly going to vote for the other major political party, and I'm going to vote for Joe Biden just because, by default, right? You're not seeing that same level of conviction. That's the problem. So that's why, like with Trump, at least that's what I'm kind of illustrating. There's genuine public support for Donald Trump. There's no other way to explain it. Because you can say, oh, well, are 74 million people, did they vote for him in 2020 just because of Fox News? Like, do 74 million people actually actively watch Fox on a show-by-show basis that would account for 74 million votes? Because if that's true, Fox must be the biggest network in the history of existence. Like, obviously you can't explain it that way. You could explain the unnatural 81 million votes for somebody, again, who has run for president before twice. He got in trouble for plagiarism the first time and wasn't even his party's nominee. And then he also got in trouble in 2016 just for his general clown behavior and wasn't his party's nominee there either. So that's how I can paint this clear, objective process to show some unnatural thing happened. And it's twofold. One is the corporate-owned media took a clear side, and part of that is obviously the propaganda against Trump. So they made people hate Trump so much that they would blindly vote for anybody on the other side. But where I don't respect that is, this is exactly what you should do here as well. Don't vote for Trump if you don't like him, and don't vote for Biden if you don't like him either. And he's been a bad president. I can paint that fairly objectively, but the point being that don't do either major political party. How about you vote for an independent? So if 81 million people voted for Joe Jorgensen last time, or for another independent, everything would have been fine. But instead, right, they blindly, mindlessly voted for somebody they wouldn't have conviction in. So now you get these people, sometimes very intelligent people, David Pacman, etc., but they're so dug in that you found the solution, right? How did Hitler come to power? How do Stalin and Mao and all these people? They had control over the media. Now, it might have been state-controlled media, but it's the same thing. This is what propaganda does. it gets even intelligent people to support something that you know is clearly wrong, right? Like Joe Biden has been a bad president. He's, can barely speak coherently, etc. He's clearly not somebody who you would normally associate with such a high position, but the media has brainwashed people enough into hating Trump, whatever, so that they would be able to be okay with that. So that's what I find disturbing. If you don't like Trump, don't vote for him. If you want to vote for somebody else, even despite him, vote for somebody you actually have conviction in. Vote for an independent. Don't vote for the other dominant political party, right? Don't do all those things. But instead, you find yourself pigeonholed here, and specifically, that's what I mean. It's like you've been in this warped state of mind where you can be convinced that this is what it's turned into. Trump is so bad that you should close your eyes and don't think and just blindly vote for whoever we tell you to, and that's going to be Biden. And that's going to be, one of the worst presidents ever. And that's going to be, somebody incoherent and just so old and this and that. And Trump is old too, so whatever. But you don't have to vote for either one. So that's what I find disturbing. It's backed people into a corner where they've dug in defending a guy who you would normally never think of like this, that you would be passionate about at all. But what they've gotten you passionate about isn't himself. This is the whole trick, right? I could get you to vote for literally anybody, the worst leaders in history. And how? Oh, because we just say the other guy is so bad and brainwash you like that and get you to fixate on that. But think about how broken that logic is within false duality. Like, this guy's so bad, this other guy. So therefore, okay, fine, that guy's bad. I'm convinced. So I think Trump is bad, so I'm not going to vote for him. Or even if you say that, then what does that have to do with voting for somebody in particular, right? By that logic, if your reason for voting is, I think this one guy is bad, therefore I'm not going to vote for him, or I'm even going to vote for somebody else just to spite him, then you could vote for anybody by that logic. You could vote for me, you could vote for Kanye West, you could vote for anybody, because, they're still not the big bad Trump guy. So that's what I find disturbing, is that there's no conviction, so you're just mindlessly going with whatever you're being told to do, or whatever the default sort of pick that Biden was. And so that's a pretty clear way to illustrate the media bias influence. A person who had never gotten even his party's nomination magically gets 81 million views, either because of the fallacy that, we're voting against somebody, even though there's no such thing, because voting against someone is just don't vote then. Just don't vote for them, and that's good enough. But this voting against is a fallacy because, again, by that logic, it could be literally anybody, right? You could just blindly pick a name, and there you go. You voted against them. So that's not a good criteria to judge. So we're going to start this in a second here, and this is on the Wall Street Journal page, and it has like 7.5 million views, so I imagine this is like the whole thing. It's an hour, 30 minutes long. So give me a second here. Yeah, I guess I could watch the whole thing, or maybe the intro is going to be long and like they won't start right away. So I haven't heard much about it, but I just saw some headlines like, Biden was so bad, but he was bad the last time too, and he's been bad, whatever, just incoherent and this and that and stumbling over his words, but it doesn't matter. He won anyway. He won with 81 million votes the last time because, again, you're not thinking, you're just a mindless sheep, you're controlled by false duality. Trump is bad, so therefore you just let us get away with anything. Just, whatever. It's just that easy to control people. So we're starting in 3, 2, 1. So you get the little live from Georgia. It's a little bit too quiet though. Who is this guy talking? Jake Tapper or somebody? I don't watch CNN, so why is CNN on Wall Street Journal? See, even there's bias inherently. Imagine if it was Fox. If it was Fox, people would say, it's biased towards Trump. Stop saying CNN. Fuck CNN. Clinton News Network. And I showed, so this is just the intro. At least it didn't make me wait at the beginning, like a loading screen type thing. Sometimes they'll do that if it's like a live stream. Dana, and who is this guy? Oh, here we go. They'll mute their mics instead of just ranting at each other. By coin toss. What is this? A sport? Folly? Favoritism? Oh, here we go. Moderator's discretion. Because they had so much back and forth bullshit that they were doing the last time. Oh, look at that. And people always accuse Biden of having like a little earpiece in. Now they'll do some last second rule to pull everything out of their ass. So Biden's waving as if there is an audience. Already fucked up, minus 1 point there. He could say he's just, here we go. This is an ad, so it ruins the whole thing, or it's just buffering. We get an ad for Biden's campaign. Yeah, I don't know if I can do this then. It's going to ruin the timestamp, so I just can't even do it. Forget it. I'll just skip it. I'm not even going to bother. Like, how the fuck am I supposed to do that then? Makes no fucking sense, dude. I guess I'll just try to tell you a timestamp where I'm going from, but no, like, people would make fun of that. Like, yeah, he's waving as if it's to the crowd, but I guess he could pass it off like that, oh, he's waving to the moderators. I don't know what I'm supposed to do with that. Like, how the fuck am I supposed to deal with an ad? Because it's going to ruin, I'll just try to tell you what he's saying or something. I don't know. He's saying, like, good to be here, thank you, but he's mumbling. And they just ignore him. This is the whole sad part, that you almost make Trump look good by contrast. I'll just give you a general idea of where I am, but I'm kind of pissed about that. Is their top concern the economy? President Biden, inflation has slowed, but prices remain high. Since he took office, the price of essentials has increased. For example, a basket of groceries. I'm just doing that so you know where we're at. I guess I should get YouTube Premium if I'm gonna do that. So I guess there should be no ads, but I've never used that before. Oh, here we go. He's gonna do the blame game. Not a good argument. Like, his voice is a little raspy too. So he's gonna just blame game, like, the reason why my presidency was bad was because I inherited his presidency. And the same way that Trump said that about Obama, it's like, you know, you would condemn Obama for that, but now when it comes to Trump, you'll do the same thing, right? Oh, Trump shouldn't just play the blame game. This is like some unintentional ASMR geriatric presidential candidate. AOC is actually pretty good at those, where she'll be all whispery. I kind of actually like that. You've already had your chance. He's saying I'm working so hard, but I'll just talk over it too. I don't even care about it. He's kind of too quiet, though. Why is he talking so quiet? Is his mic muted? He's just trying to talk without the mic. Yeah, why does he get to go first anyway? And you'll learn a lot just from Trump's facial expressions, since he can't talk. Yeah, you don't get to blame the last administration 3.5 years into yours. Like, you can do that at the beginning a little bit, but now you're gonna say it? And like, the border makes him look like a total clown. Or I don't want to hear you say, like, we're working to do this. You've already had your chance to do everything you wanted. The economy was good. There's no question about it. COVID happened, We saw Democratic governors struggle with that too, like Cuomo. That's snarky. He created jobs, but for illegal immigrants. That's a good line. A good response by Trump. Economy was good, though. Objectively, you can look at a lot of metrics. It was very good. And even people would say, oh, I remember that too. Oh, he inherited it from Obama. That's why it's so good. But that shows you their incentive right there. I don't care why it's so good. It's good. Right? Like... Now, a lot of these can be attributed to COVID, just to be clear. If you look at it without COVID involved, right, like, oh yeah, let's pretend Herbert Hoover had COVID happen or some other president. That was a very rare circumstance. But you can splice out the stats. Go up till COVID, how was everything? And it was actually pretty good, objectively. I could show you a lot of stats. I don't have it with me, but I think we all know this. Like, it wasn't that bad. And he didn't start any new wars, so these are a couple of good objective things in his favor. %10 tariff, that's a bit ambitious, but... Now you see why a lot of people wouldn't like him in other countries too. They like Biden because see, very Ronald Reagan-esque. Cutting regulations is a good thing. I mean, so far he's on point. A lot of what he's saying is true. A lot of it is fair. Because if you're going to blame a lot of the stuff on COVID, oh, look what he did in COVID. So is that saying that he was good before COVID, unless you think COVID's going to happen again? Yeah, and the way that Biden got out was a clown show. .4 versus 4.3. Yeah, because this is his logic, at least, that when you tax richer people too much, then they're not going to keep their business here. So there is some logic to it, but it is a fair way to look at it. It's not exactly the best approach, but that is a legitimate excuse, too. I'll even say it. COVID is an excuse. Even if you want to say, oh, he handled COVID so badly, right? Although we didn't see a very good response even in the later stage of Biden, but yeah, that's such a good line. That is a major plus one. More people died from COVID under Biden than under Trump, even though it started and lasted longer under Trump, and he didn't have the vaccine. Imagine that, but it's true. It's actually true. I'm pretty positive. Maybe he's stretching it a little bit, but I think that is actually true. Or for that to even be comparable is a big point for Trump. That is very much like a third world country. I was just saying that like about Russia or China. Not that those even are third world anymore, but like it is dangerous what's happened with the political persecution. No, he'd keep bringing it up, though. Keep bringing up immigration every single fucking sentence because it was a clown show. And I love this sort of argument that people make, like, well, Republicans blocked the border bill that they were trying to do, that they packed with all kinds of other incentives and things that they had. Bill Clinton didn't need a bipartisan bill. Obama didn't need a bill to just have basic border security. You didn't need anything. It was fine the way it was under Bill Clinton, under Obama. It wasn't perfect, right? But that's where it falls apart. But I didn't need some milquetoast bill that, it's like, oh yeah, you have bipartisan this and that. You didn't need that. All you needed was just basic border security that is just already existing in the country under every president ever, including Democratic presidents, right? Obama said it. Look up the clip on CNN. If you send your children over, we'll send them back. Like they were sending them by themselves at that point, but so Obama was tough on the border, but he must be racist then. And Biden just wasn't. He needs a special bill to carry him that Republicans block. Like that's a total nonsense argument. You don't need a special bill or anything just to have basic natural border security. Medicare, Social Security. So we only had the one ad there, so you would have to go by my millions and millions. Everyone makes fun of how he says that. Some of this is a little bit fear-mongering by Trump. He will wipe out Social Security. He will wipe out Medicare. But it has been a bad presidency in a lot of ways. A lot of basic things, like, again, border security is a fair criticism. They think we're stupid because we are stupid. And yeah, the whole World War III thing too. Oh, Trump's going to start World War III. He actually didn't start any, or you call him President Trump. He didn't start any new wars. He's going to start World War III. He didn't start a single new war. The first president in decades, right, to do that. And so, what does that mean? And then Biden gets involved in all these kind of things. Potential war over Taiwan, potential, war in Ukraine, Gaza shenanigans, like, those things might happen on their own, don't get me wrong, but you would have had more, or like, Trump is Putin's puppet. Also, he invades Ukraine as soon as Trump is out of office. Don't you think he would do it as soon as Trump came into office, and Trump would help him do that if he was really... Roe v. Wade. Amy Coney Barrett. Killing Roe v. Wade, just like they kill babies. Don't get me into the semantics argument. I gotta make clips of some of these because people are short attention span clowns. So I should make that. Abortion is factually, objectively killing babies, and the only reason why people try to misframe it and dehumanize a fetus is to justify killing it. So it's a loaded, preconceived argument. You wouldn't do that if you felt like what you were doing is right? You're only doing it because you're trying to justify something. So let's say a fetus is alive and it is a baby, then you'd say, what? Then, we shouldn't abort it? Is that what you're confessing to? So the only reason why you hide behind semantics and say, it's somehow less human, right? And you try to say, whatever you try to jump out of it is because you want to kill it, right? So it's loaded. Let's assume it is a baby. Let's assume it is alive. You're killing it. And the reality is that's what it is, because this zero-sum perspective doesn't work, because you're going to you're preventing someone from being alive. If you have an abortion, that baby will not be alive. It will not be a human being. It will not be born. And if you don't do an abortion, they will be alive, right? And maybe extenuating a few circumstances, but generally speaking, so it's not a good. Or I want to hear one of them yell over the other. I'm just talking about random stuff too, but I'm still listening. But I want to see them yell over each other, so you don't even need the mic, but you still get so mad by something they say. Trump sort of puts it on a bit too. Like, he seems like he's yelling and screaming in a dick sometimes, but he's pretty under control. Like, he's pretty calm and cool, what he's doing here. So I find that interesting. He can play with people so easily. They get so riled up. Like, that's a feature of a certain leader. Like, a good leadership quality, that you get a rise out of people, whether it's good or bad, you're still getting a reaction. Biden doesn't get a reaction. He's just a mindless, corporate media approved clown show puppet, nothing really to him. At least give us somebody with some conviction. Like Bernie Sanders at least has some conviction where he believes in what he's doing, even if, you don't agree with what he's doing. This is true. A lot of criminals have come across the border. That is true, right? The border wasn't like that under Obama. It wasn't like that under Trump. It was only like that under Biden, where you're just letting people in with no process whatsoever. Just put your hands up and just say, oh, we can't do anything about it. We need a Republican-backed bill. I love that argument. That if you say that, then I have no respect for you, really, because we need a Republican agreed-to bill to have basic border security that we had under Trump, under Obama, under Bill Clinton, under George Bush. Again, just basic border security, just a basic process. I was surprised that happened. I said that it wouldn't happen. I thought, oh, just because you put Amy Coney Barrett. Seven states have no legal restriction on how late. I don't know enough about this aspect to really say. 3 trimesters. I'm not even going to say anything with that. Like, I don't. And I'm not even in favor of it being illegal. I just don't like the semantics argument. I think it should be legal up to maybe a certain point. Again, I don't know enough about that. I'm not going to say it, but. So it should be legal to do it generally, but I would stigmatize it, and so I don't like that argument. It should be legal. You should be able to do it. That's fine. You can do it for convenience. You can do it because you don't want to take responsibility for your actions of getting pregnant. You can do whatever you want. Oh, hear a little colorful language. Rip the baby out. Oh, look, he was trying to talk when his mic was muted. Okay, at least it's on record. We're not for late-term abortion. There are times where it happens when it's not a health issue, but I don't know how common that is. Oh, just because it was that way doesn't mean that's the way it should be, but it should be a state issue, obviously, but. Oh, here we go. MAGA buzzword. First use, I think. Universal van. Even he said it like that in the subtitles correctly said van. A universal van sounds like a good thing for a family trip. But oh, too bad we don't have a family because we aborted our babies. Yes, a record number. Let's hear your excuse for this. Oh, New York and Chicago that are nowhere near the fucking border. Why did it overrun them? Because they because they sent them on buses to try to prove a point. Oh, here we go, bipartisan. This is an L argument. This is a terrible, terrible argument. But you're the one who opened it in the first place. This is one thing that you have a lot of explaining to do. Because the thing is, you didn't have to do anything with it. You could have just left it the same in a general case as it always was. The cages. Who built the cages, Joe? Let's do a rehash of that. That was the classic moment from the last one. Who built the cages, Joe? 40%. Oh, so you're almost giving him credit. Better than when he left office. So he was doing such a good job. But no, that's sort of inexplicable. Just the lack of interest in the border. They just didn't care. It's not even about, oh, Trump did such a great job with the border. Obama did a better job with the border. Like, it's not a Democrat-Republican issue. It was open for no reason at the beginning for a long time. Yeah, people were coming from Asia to Mexico just to come across the border. So it's not even, oh, racist. Who's it racist against? We don't even know. Because, it could be anybody. It could be people from Europe. So what race are we even talking about? Because we don't know who's coming in. Because we're not checking who's coming in. Because we have no process. I won't say that, but I just did. Brandon? Did he say Brandon? Oh, yeah, thank you for bringing... No, people have come across and committed crimes. What are you talking about? You're going back to something that happened a long time ago, but you're trying to tell me not a single person has come across illegally and committed a crime under this administration? Come on. Okay, now he's just lying. There's no data. Come on. Not a single one, dude. Let's see, who is he going to deport? Oh, now he's talking about something else. That had nothing to do with the border. He's talking about we're killing al-Baghdadi and stuff. And this is the whole beauty of it. He could just ignore what the moderator's question is and just talk about whatever he wants. Because, just use your time however you want. But I love that bus thing. That's a good way to show it. Oh, Texas isn't overwhelmed. Republicans are just complaining. Now we send them on a bus to New York, and then Mayor Adams and stuff are complaining, oh, this is a crisis. We need help. Like, it shows you the hypocrisy of it. It's only a crisis when it's in your backyard. The art of war... right, like force them to turn on themselves. This is one of those things that you just didn't need to do, right? The border, you didn't need to take that approach, right? He did open it. He just didn't do anything. He didn't care. That is a basic responsibility of any sovereign country, any basic government, civilized country in the world. Every civilized country in the world has borders. Now how severe, how strict they should be can be debated. You can make it easier to come in than it already is. But to just take that hands-off, laissez-faire approach is really impossible to explain, right? It's a non-issue that you didn't need to make an issue, but he did. He's going on for a long time here. Here we go. Now we're just getting into calling each other liars. This is at least a good argument to try to make within, actually bring up a policy and the specifics. Yeah, why can't we get the fact checkers on this? Like, as much of this Orwellian fact checking we had, quote unquote, right? The real fact checkers are the people themselves. Now he's just rambling. World War II cemetery, blah, blah, blah. All this stuff is just idiosyncrasies. Here we go. Loser. Yeah, there was never a proof of that. We need a fact check on that. There's actually a lot of lawsuits Trump has done and could do against media networks for just factually, objectively slanderous claims that have no proof to them. There's a lot of that. He did call John McCain a loser, but I guess he was a loser in terms of the election. See, this is good, because, yeah, he wasn't successfully impeached for Russia, all the witch hunts he's bringing up. Yeah, a laptop was real. His hunter's gotten in a lot of trouble now. One of those things, like, if you are really happy with this president and if you vote for him again, Biden, that's on you. I don't really respect it. Again, I would always say vote for an independent, especially with how much people don't like Trump. But either way, I'm not too sure about this. Like, if you really look at this person here, it's a maturity thing. You have to be able to admit when you're wrong. Admit that you're wrong, that you voted for him in 2020, and just correct your mistake. Either don't vote or vote for somebody you have conviction in, vote for an independent. Generally, the soldiers do like him more, Trump more. It is, there's a lot of polls to support this, that the soldiers do like him. Maybe not the top brass, because they want more wars. And Trump didn't make any. He can even say this too. He didn't invade Ukraine until I wasn't president anymore. So he can take credit for that. Okay, we'll pause here for a second and I'll figure out something with the timestamp. I guess it doesn't have to be exact, but there's a few points here I'll put for myself even at the end that we want. We wanted a few things. Let me think. We wanted a few things, and those few things are, I want to do the abortion clip where I explain the semantics fallacy. I want to do the, I can't even remember now. It was the abortion thing. It was the maybe the border thing, like how it's not really a controversial issue because of the simple fact that every civilized country has a border. And then something, let me go back a little bit. So we're about 29 minutes in. I don't know if I'll watch the whole thing. I don't know. Maybe just the false duality, just don't vote against kind of thing. So we're at timestamp 28:20, and we'll go from here. I almost am kind of bored of this, and I don't even want to do it, but I'll just do it anyway for now. So let's go. We're starting in 3, 2, 1. So 28:20. You know what's interesting about the whole Ukraine thing is it's a case where, what do you call it? They were trying to do peace talks originally, and then they sort of denied them and said, no, we're not going to do peace talks. And then they're, surprise Pikachu face, now it's a war. Like, they were trying to make a deal, right? Now, yes, you might have to give us some territory, no question about it. But would you rather go through all this and then you may end up with the same scenario? But no, this is always a good argument for Trump, that you get to deny the whatever. Nothing really happened when he was president from that. Yeah, that is actually a good thing. Like, Putin sees that, then he feels emboldened to do whatever he wants. And what I actually almost thought might have happened was the Taiwan thing. It's a good argument because a lot of these things didn't happen when he was there. But Taiwan was I thought Taiwan would happen too. They would take Taiwan because they see how weak Biden is on all this. Malarkey, good word. Brain damage. Sounds like something you know something about. He didn't start any new wars, though. That's a good thing on your lapel. Maybe that's part of the reason why they hate him so much. Do whatever you want, but he didn't do it. That's the thing. He encouraged him, but he didn't do it until you took over. So how does that make any sense? But he waited until he wasn't president anymore. They were doing peace talks at the beginning, so I don't know what happened with that. Like, they were trying to prove a point, like, oh no, we're not going to sit down and compromise. Biggest scam artist, but before you even take office. That is just like a realistic historical thing. Like, you have to, war criminal, we're talking about George Bush here. This is why Biden won, maybe, because, war industrial complex that you get to, keep them happy. Trump said something about that at some point that was interesting, like, you know, all the soldiers love me except for the top brass. They hate me because they want more war. And that's a great way to manufacture consent, too. Like, who can disagree with that? Right, like patriotism, you have to support the troops, so always fall back on that. Or like the Brittany Griner thing was such a disaster because of who you gave up for her. You shouldn't have needed to do that. Endorse the plane I put forward or the plan I put forward? At least that sounded sharp. He had like 3 options ready. Oh my gosh. He's kind of rambling on a bit here. Just like a rambling answer, but you're not getting to the point. What, Bin Laden, like you wait 20 years and get him in a fucking cave? Not 20 years, but... Yeah, this is where the U.S. spreads us thin. Yeah, people who are closest to them have to give more proportion, right? It might be in our interest to help them, but I always hate that he's a Palestinian. Like demoralizing, oh, we're doing it for moral reasons, then I don't want to do it. I want to do it for strategic reasons. Otherwise, you spread yourself thin. It's always just a pretense. Keeps bringing up Poland. Assuming they weren't going to do that, though, like, anyway. Yeah, would, like, leaving NATO be as big of a mistake as, like, the Brexit thing? The European Union exit shenanigans? Secret meeting, like a new world order. See, he's a good businessman, though, at least the way he's saying it. I don't know if this is 100% true, but he didn't get Mexico to pay for the wall, though, at least. Some of them. And he told them to stop, so... And he was declared innocent when he was trying to be impeached over it. So he has the law on his side there. The real tragedy was not that, but the fact that he won even. He's not even really acknowledging it. He's kind of deflecting. But the easy argument is there's a few bad apples. Just say I was declared innocent in a legal setting from the impeachment. How did he say that? Documentary? Yeah, these are the people who do it just to, because they don't like him. And the AOC whole escape thing turned into a drama that she was making a big deal. And as delusional as people say he is, he would have thought he won anyway, so he wouldn't have felt the need to really do it like that. He would still say like he won, so why would I need to create a riot if I won? Very fine people. That thing, misquoted all the time. Fine people on both sides. Yeah, you can't let one few bad apples ruin the whole thing. Like, clearly, if he wanted that to happen, don't you think more people would have done it then? He has a lot of supporters there. They would have all done it then. Yeah, all the mostly peaceful protests. All these Orwellian terms. So that was mostly peaceful. So January 6th was mostly peaceful because the vast majority of people there were peaceful. So you can't say... Deleted it just like Hillary's emails, right? I don't know much about the unselect thing, but that is true. He is a convicted felon, but does that mean that every president ever has never done anything wrong? Right? Like, just because they go after you doesn't mean that you're a bad guy. It's because it's a consistency issue. Like, let's see, how many people is that of all the supporters and everybody there? Let him answer. Then I'll denounce the people who individually actually committed a crime. But sometimes you reveal stuff by saying this too, that right, the best revenge is being successful or something. There's some quote like that. Is being happy. Could be, though, but again, it's just... Yeah, like George Bush, for example, regardless of political party, George Bush is an unconvicted war criminal, so they didn't go after him, not like this especially. More severe crime and stuff, whom? I did nothing wrong. I don't know about that, but, two things can be true. Let's say he really did do something, right? Like, he is a felon, but the fact that they went after him is for the wrong reason still. Oh, yeah, like, it didn't happen that way. Biden didn't seek retribution against people. But he probably shouldn't say that. Like, that does make it sound bad. Oh, so now we're going about morals. So does that mean Bill Clinton should have... He didn't have sex with a porn star, then what's the point of being so wealthy? You're wasting it, dude. I mean, all this is true. They are all Democrats. That is true. You can't question the public. Like, the fact-checking element, the public fact-checked it and found out that it's a fix. Oh, now he's bragging about the money he's gotten. It's true, he didn't win fair and square last time. So much media help censoring the Hunter Biden story and stuff. But see, everybody has heard all the negative stuff, so don't act like they don't know. Yeah, those roads that Hitler built, those were really good ideas. A lot of things other than obviously the obviously bad ones. Find people on both sides fallacy thing. That's been totally, fact check this one. Right, like if you say, he said, if you listen to the whole clip, I condemn them totally. There was even something recently that was posted that showed this, even on like a liberal site that said, oh, he didn't actually say that. Oh, so he's saying he one-upped Obama. He always said that Trump, or that Obama was the worst president. It is actually true. Yeah, I just saw that the other day, too. Yeah, listen to the whole quote, and then he says, except for the people, I condemn them totally. It's just such a low fallacy, like, come on. Everything's, like, myopic, right? You can take it on a... Okay, so this is like some sort of break, so I'll like restart at this point, which is going to be like 51 minutes. Alright, so we're starting at 51:26 timestamp, and we're starting in 3, 2, 1, or it delayed, so I'll scratch that. Let's do it from the 30 mark, or there's an ad too, for fuck's sake. It's not like you have to watch it exactly, you'll kind of know based on the subject where we're at, but... Okay, so 51:30. So from 51:30, we're starting in 3, 2, 1. Or it didn't, whatever, maybe it's not working. Hang on. There's an actual pause in here. I don't know what happened. It keeps pausing on its own. So we're at now 51:50. So we're starting from 51:50 in 3, 2, 1. This is like just a sort of commercial break in progress. Program will resume shortly, but obviously, I guess we did see the ad there basically, but I don't know why they included this in the thing. It's just like based off a live stream sort of format. I'll just let it run. I don't know how long this could possibly be, but this is basically the halfway point. In fact, it's over halfway because 50 minutes out of an hour 40, it's about half. So, yeah, I haven't really enjoyed doing this too much. Let's just, I guess, finish it, or I still won't be able to finish it. Right, I guess maybe if I skip this, I could be better off. I don't know how long the commercial break should really be. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So we're starting from 55 minutes exact. In 3, 2, 1. It'll be so confusing if you only hear one of these. Okay, there we go. It starts like right there, 55. So we're at like 55, 10, 55, 11, 12 right now. Yeah, Trump was like the first-term president in a long time. You had Obama did 2, Bush did 2, Clinton did 2. I think it was George Bush's dad that was last to be a one-term president. Yeah, see, Joe Biden's part of systemic racism, proven by the fact that he gave a eulogy to a KKK member. Robert Byrd is a very fine person, he said. I quote, "He's not stumbling even as much as I thought he would, Biden, but he's sort of just too quiet. But no, he's at least speaking relatively quickly and decently." This is like one of those first world problems, spoiled mentality. Like, in the modern day, you have better medical facilities and everything, capacities to have children than ever before, but you're complaining about it like this. Like, what did people do in the time of cavemen, and what did people do thousands of years ago, right, when they were having childbirth? They had to deal with it, right? Like, I'm not saying you should have to be that worried about it, but it's, we're in the best possible state technologically with that. I don't blame you for being disappointed, but just don't blame me, I guess. Yeah, a nation that's trillions in debt needs to be giving out more free money. It's the ultimate way to buy votes, the Bernie Sanders way. Promise people free stuff and you still lose. But yeah, sure, like this is the ultimate. Let's keep printing money, let's keep giving free money to people that we can't afford, that we don't have. There's no gold standard backing it, and you are going even deeper trillions in debt just so that we keep people happy and keep getting votes, but it's just not practical. I wouldn't say that Biden caused the inflation. I'll fact check Trump there. Like, it was happening for a long time. It was happening under you. It's been happening. The only person who was really equipped to stop it would have been if Ron Paul had been elected in 2008 and reworked a lot of things. Then you might have had a chance. Even that was late. But, if Ron Paul had won in 2008, 2012 it was, I think. Not 2008, but either one. He might have run both times, but definitely 2012. So you had Ron Paul if you were worried about it, but you didn't care then. Now it's a buzzword. That's true. As Jesse Lee Peterson would say, are you bothered that illegal immigration affects black communities first and foremost? Does that bother you? That's what Jesse Lee Peterson does a lot, just reductive arguments like, yeah, it's, a lot of these stats you can excuse. Oh, it was because of COVID. What would you have done under COVID? You would have the magic solution answer. Even with the vaccine crutch, right, you still struggled with it. So I don't know if I really buy that. Right, that's kind of a low argument to make. Like, oh, haha, we get to whatever. Republicans are a bit aimless when it comes to the healthcare angle, just like they kind of just try to turn shit down. John McCain ruined that, though, how he voted against his own party but they'll do it just to get rid of it, but they won't have like always the best solution. I remember Trump even being asked about that, and he kept saying, we have a good plan, but he wouldn't say what the plan was and wouldn't give details. Like, they don't really have a plan most of the time with that issue, and they just kind of keep talking about it. What are you gonna do? A fucking global warming thing, dude? This is the biggest buzzword dumb shit ever. Here's what'll solve the climate issue. And what'll solve it is the fact that you'll run out of fossil fuels before that even happens. But why are you talking about police? I thought he was talking about climate. He keeps changing the topic and deflecting. But no, like, the way to solve it is... Or wasn't that Hillary Clinton who said that, super predators? But what happens is, what you have is, what was I saying? Oh, climate. You'll run out of fossil fuels before you destroy the planet or do anything like that. But the bigger issue is, yes, let's try to make renewable energy just so we don't run out of fossil fuels, not so that, climate change, we're going to do all this. That's the secondary thing that would take millions of years, even with our influence. It's not quite what people make it out to be. That's a totally propagandized point, right? Like, what would happen first? We make the planet uninhabitable because of fossil fuel usage, or we actually run out of them. It's hard to justify that. Like, if you ask point blank, how do you explain the border crisis? How do you explain it? Why did you do it? I don't know how accurate this is. Best environmental number. Well, what is the statistic then? Okay, so we're going to have a 5-second delay here. So right now it's 5 seconds after he's... Oh, fuck. Okay, it'll be 10 seconds. So it's 10-second delay after he said... Whatever, the stat. They just keep saying that. Like, they're both liars. The best climate thing ever under his administration. I don't know if that's true. A lot of these things weren't even tracked many decades ago, so you'll be the best at a category that only starts getting measured now. It's like in the NBA, right? Like, Wilt Chamberlain doesn't have this stat, doesn't have this record of, quadruple double or something because blocks weren't even recorded, so how could he have it, right? That's like not fair. See, there's just a lot of claim making. They're just saying stuff. Clean water, he hasn't done a damn thing. Like, be specific. How dirty was the water then? You gotta have some facts. He doesn't have any knowledge of this, although Trump didn't give anything. Climate change is a non-issue. Like I said, you got a million things to worry about before that. This is a trend. Every other country doesn't pay, but they lecture us. I like how he said that. I'm the one who got the insulin. It's fair to keep bringing up the border and the migrants. I have the biggest what on this stage? Could be multiple things he's talking about there. But there's only 2 people on the stage, so it's not exactly high standards here. I don't know what the hell you just said there. $20.35 will do something in half. Oh yeah, we'll have the climate core. Here we go, dude. Recycle your plastic. Stop living the modern lifestyle you do, which objectively plays into all these things that would theoretically harm the environment. Stop using electricity. Like, what the fuck? Indoctrinate children into a climate hysteria. Global warming alarmist. I love all these things too, because if you said these things like 20 years ago, oh, you're just crazy, Al Gore, right? Oh, he was crazy. But now you're saying the same things, basically. Or like inflation. Oh, Ron Paul's crazy. Also, inflation go burr in 2020. Like, nobody wants to hear it ahead of time. You want to wait till it's too late. Okay, this is at least a fair point. Make the wealthy pay their fair share. Trump sometimes doesn't like doing that because, oh, he thinks it's bad for business, which they both have arguments to them, but there's sort of an in-between. Sometimes it is too extreme, like, oh, you got to pay 75% or something crazy. That's going to obviously discourage you from wanting to be there. Let's see, how far are we in here? Like an hour 6. He wants to get rid of Social Security, apparently. It is objectively a bad thing, but I mean, people are so used to it and dependent on it. It's like welfare, Social Security, all this like straw manning. The idea that we don't need to protect our seniors. But when did he say that we don't need to protect our seniors? The idea that we should just kill babies is ridiculous. But when did he say that? Oh, wait. The pre-existing condition thing, the health care. That is one negative point, though, for Republicans overall, is they're sort of, they don't want the free health care stuff, but they also don't have the best solution, the best alternative. He didn't even say anything. He doesn't know what he's talking about. To be fair, a lot of that was propagated by the media, though. Russia. And he's mentioning Ukraine in that notion, too. They accused him of how it comes full circle. All right, so 5-second delay there. A lot of this, he's had the aid and the buffer of the media to do it, though. Starts every sentence with like the idea. Oh, so it's good for immigrants to take our jobs so our economy grows and a bigger, better economy, but oh yeah, just like how they said before, if Trump is elected, we'll have World War III when we didn't have a single new war at all. But now you're talking like Trump when he would say that about Obama and stuff. Worst president in history. Yeah, and we'll get almost to the end of it, but not quite. It's not been that great of a performance by either one, but Trump does have a lot of things on his side just because it's the same way like the first time in 2020. Biden can say something about COVID and you don't know what Biden would have done, but you don't have to because he's not the president. So Trump's just kind of chilling, waiting for this moment, but everything can be blamed on Biden because he's the sitting president. So heavy lies the crown. You have to own it. Firing people is good, yeah, because you got to keep. Now there could be the wrong reason for doing it, but some people he did put there, though, he's still fired. He hasn't addressed that either. The Afghanistan thing, like, you can't defend it. Mayorkas or whoever should be fired for that. What was that little haha, like snickering like a school kid? Like, no you, you're the worst, no you. It's hard to explain that he has yet to justify it. Why did you have open borders? Don't blame Republicans because both sides of the aisle, you don't need a bill. It's just a basic part of being the government. It's supposed to protect the border, right? Like, it's already in effect. You don't need a bill. I don't know if we're the most admired anymore. Oh, this is a little too pro-American, though. Isn't this considered, like, racist or bigoted somehow? This is nationalistic speech here. Biden's a nationalist. That means he's racist, apparently, according to the propaganda that we always heard about against Trump. Oh, here we go. That doesn't seem like recency bias, like you can argue they're wrong. There is some recency bias in that, like, you know, history is sometimes not kind to, well, history might be kind to people, but, you know, in your own time, sometimes you're, what's my expression, like, every revolutionary is a terrorist in their own time. So in the same sense here, like, he might be a great president and he'll be looked back at that, fighting against the one-party state that's about to emerge. Or yeah, there he talks without the mic. Show me. I would say, at least objectively, I think he was better than Biden, but that's not saying a whole lot. Like, you know, 2016 to 2020 was better than 2020 to 2024. Even with the whole COVID thing, you got to take that with a grain of salt, but this always sounds bad for Trump, though. Like, we don't want to cut taxes, or we don't want to raise taxes for rich people because less than 40,000. It should be like less than 70 or something. 40 is kind of a low bar. You can barely hear Biden sometimes. Like, at least Trump isn't yelling, but he's at least more coherent. Yeah, but I kind of want to finish this now, but maybe I should have played it on like 2 times speed. I guess that's good enough. Like, I'm not gonna fucking sit here all day doing this shit. He at least tried to make progress with China. I like some of these countries' spats that they have too, like U.S. and China and U.S. and Russia will say negative things about each other, but then they'll still keep trading like nothing happened. Like, it never stops them from just doing what they're doing. Oh, look at him give them credit though, despite the efforts that both of you have made. You see how there's an objectivity that's lacking though, right? If you go by what the media would say about Trump, you would think, oh, he's the worst ever and nobody likes him, but where's the disconnect? The disconnect is between the corporate-owned media's position and the public's position.